Good. I just dropped all them calendars.
I saw it, man. Don't worry about it.
Nate, come grab these calendars from back there for me. But as y'all can see from the title of the lesson, first I'd like to say peace and happy Sabbath to everybody that's here and everybody that's watching online. And we're going to look at something today. Going to get right into the Word. Try not to be too long in the class. But as you can see from the title of the class, it's called Faith in God, Your Ticket into the Wilderness. And reason why we want to look at this because we got a lot of questions regarding the wilderness. And I know a lot of brothers try to handle it and stuff like that. But, you know, in order for us to really get down to it, we're just going to have to look at a class on it. You ain't going to need a passport. You ain't going to need no clothes. And you ain't going to need to worry about your last paycheck or none of that. You know, all you going to need to get to the wilderness is faith in God, sisters and brothers. And what a lot of people don't understand is that, you know, God don't really do anything different. You know, he may do it a little bit more bigger than it was last time. Like, for instance, he took the Israelites long time ago into the wilderness. You know, and a lot of stuff has to happen in the wilderness before you walk into Jerusalem, sisters and brothers. You know, and that's what a lot of people think that, you know, when the Lord get back, we're going straight into Jerusalem. It's not going to work like that, sisters and brothers. Before you get into the promised land, you know, a lot of things going to be sorted out, whether you're going to serve God or you not. And all this stuff going to be worked out in the wilderness. If you think about it, the children of Israel walked around the wilderness for 40 years. Why ain't just take them to the promised land? Because it don't work like that. You know, but before we actually get into where the Lord come back and gather all Israel from around the world where they've been scattered at, because that's going to happen. We have been scattered in the worldwide captivity, regardless of whether you heard it or not. It doesn't happen. You don't woke up and found out that there was a nation of people that got scattered throughout the world on ships, right? It just so happened that the Bible told you about it before you found out. So whether you believe it or not, you got here by ships for the most part as a black person. And just like you got here, the Lord is the one that sent us into captivity, and the Lord is the one that's going to deliver us. But before the big deliverance take place from this worldwide captivity, there's a time that's coming on the world called the Great Tribulation. Another place in Jeremiah chapter 30 is referred to as Jacob's trouble. Jacob is the father of the Israelites. His name was changed to Israel when he wrestled with the angel in the book of Genesis. It lets you know the whole story, how he got his name changed to Israel. And out of him, he had 12 sons. And these 12 sons, they are now known as the children of Israel. This is where the Israelites originate from. Well, it's some things that was going to happen way down the line in the latter days pertaining to Jacob's children, the Israelites. And this is called the Great Tribulation. A lot of people don't really understand that this Great Tribulation, it's going to cover, you know, a very great amount of the world, good amount in the world, but it's mainly going to be for Israel. You know, all this trouble, all the killing, all the famine and stuff that's getting ready to come on the world, sisters and brothers, it's going to be mainly against Israel. But if you have some understanding, if you been getting taught the word of God, the Lord has a place for his people. You know, we don't have to feed you no doctrine and say things like, well, the Lord going to rapture you off to heaven, you know, and then we're going to fly off into the sky. We're going to look down on the world while the Great Tribulation is going on and just eat popcorn and just be safe in the heavens. That's not how it's going to work, sisters and brothers. You go back in history, in the Bible, and see how the Lord did with Noah. When he flooded the earth, did the Lord take Noah off to heaven anywhere? No, he told Noah to build an ark, didn't he? It hadn't even rained, but he told him to build an ark. Noah building an ark, but that was his faith, sisters and brothers. Never seen rain before. Took him over 100-some years to get that ark built. That was faith. So when the rain actually came, guess what? It protected him and his family. It'll tell you that. We're going to look at that a little bit. Not really going off into what happened, but how he was able to save him and his household by his actions. And that's the same thing that we're looking at nowadays, sisters and brothers. We're on the slippery slope to the end of the world. That's where we're going at right now. That's why you're starting to see all the homosexuality, starting to take off all over the place. That's why you're starting to see all the false preachers just appear out of nowhere, because we in the end of the world. The Lord told you about that. But in order for you to actually get to this place, the place of safety that the Lord has for his church, you're going to have some faith in God. You're going to be willing to have to be willing to walk away from your family and friends, sisters and brothers. And I'm not saying that as if it's going to be an easy task, but what I am saying is you're going to have more faith in God than all this material stuff. Some people going to have to leave their nice houses, their nice cars, their nice salaries if you want to get to this place of safety. And one reason it's going to require a lot of faith because we going somewhere we ain't never seen. We going to a place that is considered desert land right now. A lot of people ask the question, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to eat over there? Where are we going to get our food? Now, listen, this is not something that I'm putting together. This is something that God is putting together. So if God is putting this together, believe me, he going to provide your food. You understand? Hey, he had the Israelites walking in the wilderness for 40 years, and he said their shoes never got old, right? So you mean to tell me he can't take? He even made water come out of a rock when they was in the wilderness. He fed them manna from heaven. But it tell you that what? In Hebrews 13, verse 8, it tell you Jesus Christ the same yesterday, today, and forever, right? Mm-hmm. So if he did it for them back then, he can do it for his church now. So now let's go look at this. Going to Revelation chapter 3. Faith in God, your ticket into the wilderness. You ain't got to worry about getting no passport. You ain't got to worry about calling your travel agent. All you got to do is have some faith. Revelation chapter 3, we're going to pick this up at verse 7. And when you get there, brother, go and read that for me.
And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that had the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth.
So this is a letter to the 7 churches. We're looking at this church of Philadelphia in particular because the Lord going to do something for this church. So he said, to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David. What else?
He that openeth, and no man shutteth.
Keep reading.
And shutteth, and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it.
Go ahead.
For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name.
Right, that's that open door that he get. In other words, when he give you that word, can't nobody come and take it from you. That's what he did. That's what the Lord has done. He's opened up this word unto you. You walked through it. In other words, you received it. Now you got it. Hey, ain't nobody going to be able to take it from you. You ain't denying the Lord's name. No matter what is put on the table, you still going to stand up for the Lord. What else to say, brother?
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan.
Now pay attention now. This Jesus talking now. He said, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which do what?
Which say they are Jews and are not.
Right, so we ain't just, pointing out a people. When you come here, we let you know that we are the Israelites according to the Bible. And there's somebody off in the land that's lying saying that they're the Israelites, that they're the real Jews. Well, hey, even Jesus knew it was a lie. That's why he's saying what he said. He said, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do what?
Do lie.
See, they lying. They ain't the Israelites. That's Edom. That's our brother over there in the land of Israel today. When we got carted off into captivity, he just dropped the name of Edom and moved right on up into the land, and he picked up the name Jew, sisters and brothers. But God telling you about him, he said what? He do lie. Keep reading.
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
That's right. Go ahead.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience.
Now notice what he said. He said, because you have kept the word of my patience. This is why it's so important for you to, no matter what you're going through, you still going to have to hold on to the word of God, sisters and brothers, because there's a reward at the end that we're seeking for. All right? He said, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, what are you going to do?
I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation.
That's another name for the Great Tribulation. That's another name for Jacob's trouble. He said, I'm going to also keep you from the hour of temptation, because that's what we're getting close to. We getting ready to walk up, we getting ready to fall right into the Great Tribulation, and ain't nobody being warned about it. The preachers ain't saying nothing to nobody. Everybody want to live how they want to live. God loves everybody, but yet and still, we got the Great Tribulation right around the corner. He said, what? I'm going to keep you from the hour of temptation. What it's going to do, brother?
Which shall come upon all the world.
See, this is a bad time. This is going to come upon all the world. Go ahead and read.
To try them that dwell upon the earth.
And that's what this hour of temptation is. It's going to be a time where number of trouble going to come on the earth. and it's going to try you. You say you believe in God, hey, you're going to have to stand up for the word. But at the same time, you say, listen, if you say you're a Christian at this time, put it this way, your faith really going to be tested, sisters and brothers. But he said, I'm going to keep you, talking about the church of Philadelphia. I'm going to keep you from this time because you have kept the word of my patience. All right, go ahead and read. That's it on that?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, now let's go over to 2 Peter chapter 2. Because it's all about faith, sisters and brothers. This class today is mainly just to answer some questions. Things that people are dealing with regarding, what we need to do. What are we going to need in the wilderness? Do we have to get a passport to get to the wilderness? It don't require all that, sisters and brothers. It requires what you're doing right now, having faith in God. You ain't never seen God, have you? But yet still you keeping the Sabbath day.
Yes, sir.
You ain't never seen God, but you still honoring this dietary law, right? Why? Because you got faith in him. You got faith that if you don't do what he say, there's going to be a consequence for your sins, right?
Yes, sir.
Even though you ain't never seen him. Well, let me just explain to you. You're on the right path. This is all you need. Just keep this faith in God. And then when the ultimate test comes, when it's time for you to flee, it shouldn't be no problem. Because the Lord is laying it all out for you in the Bible. He put it all in the Bible for you to understand, for you to be able to pay attention to the signs to know when it's going to unfold. 2 Peter chapter 2, pick it up at verse 4, brother. Go ahead and read it.
For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell.
Right, because what Peter's doing here, he's taking you back to how, it was false prophets back then. He even let you know it's going to be false prophets now. And all the, stuff that they're doing is not going to go without reward. The Lord going to have a penalty for them to pay. But just like they're going to have a penalty to pay, he likening it to the angels. Read that again. What it say?
For if God spared not the angels that sinned.
Right, because he didn't, the angels sinned in heaven. He didn't allow them to get away with it. Revelation chapter 12 lets you know that there was a war in heaven. And Satan and his angels got cast out. But they just on the earth right now for some time. They're not going to get away with what they did. That's why I'm saying, for if God did what?
Cast them down to hell.
He cast them down to hell. Go ahead.
And delivered them into chains of darkness.
Right, so they're not in the lake of fire burning somewhere. They on this earth. They tell you that in Revelation chapter 12. Anything outside of where God dwells at, sisters and brothers, that's considered hell. I hope you didn't think this was heaven. All this killing going on. All this famine going on. And disease. I just know you ain't think this was heaven, did you? All right? But he said he cast them down to hell, and he delivered them into chains of darkness. All the evil and stuff that you see going on, hey, listen, Satan is behind it. You just can't see him, though. That's why the Bible saying he got him in the chains, got him in chains of darkness. For how long, though, brother? What it say?
To be reserved unto judgment.
Go ahead. What else?
And spare not the old world.
See, this right now, this is a different time frame that we in right now. But he said he spared not the old world, talking about the Lord. Go ahead and read.
But saved Noah, the eighth person.
What he did, he saved Noah. But how did he save Noah, though? Noah had to go build an ark, sisters and brothers. God couldn't just come to him and tell him, I'm going to destroy the world with some water. And Noah just sat there. He said, well, I ain't never seen rain before, so I ain't going to do nothing. I just got to take a chance, Lord. No, he had to go build an ark. Everybody looking at him like he's crazy because guess what? It hadn't rained at that time. So the same with us, you're going to have some faith. You're going to have to leave everything. People going to be like, man, y'all going to a desert? What's out there? I mean, y'all really crazy now. You think you was in the cold now. You really going to be in the cold then. But he said he spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, because it was Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives. That's 8 people. Out of all the people that was around back then, hey, the Lord destroyed the world and only saved 8 people, sisters and brothers. Noah, the 8th person, the preacher of righteousness, doing what?
Bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
Keep reading.
And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow.
Oh, so that's what he did also. Not only did he flood the world, but also during the time of Lot, when all that, people like to say that what was going on during the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, they just had a lot of pride. They just treated people wrong. No, that's not what happened. You get sodomy from sodomites, 2 men laying with each other, sisters and brothers. That's exactly what was going on back then. And we have come full circle. That's exactly what's going on now. But he says what? He turned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, doing what?
Making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly.
So he made that an example. So if you want to know how God feels about same-sex marriage, you want to know how God feels about murder and adultery and killing and stuff like that, go back and look and see what happened during Noah's time. Go back and look and see what happened during Sodom and Gomorrah time, during the time of Lot. The Bible just said that what? It left it, in other words, God left it for us as an example. Now you got something to go look at and say, well, hey, I better not do that because I know God wasn't pleased with that, right? That's why it says here, he condemned it with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that what?
That after should live ungodly.
Right, so if you take on that same mannerism like they did, guess what? You're going to have the same result, right? But this time, hey, you going to be looking forward to the lake of fire. But the Lord is not going to allow this world to continue on like it is, sisters and brothers. You know, I hope we understand that at some point, man has to answer for all the actions that are going on in the world today. He ain't going to let it just go on like we think it is. All right, what else to say, brother? Go ahead.
And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked.
Notice what he did. He delivered just Lot, vexed with what?
The filthy conversation of the wicked.
Right, so we can't be, you know, you can't have that mindset where you can do what you want to do as long as it don't bother me, right? No, you're going to have to take a side. We looked at that a few weeks back, but you can't just be cool with it. You know, long as, if y'all love each other, it's okay. No, that's not the case. You're going to have to, you got to stand up for God. God says it's wrong, right? He said it's an abomination. Well, you can't be afraid to say the same thing, sisters and brothers. They say Lot was vexed with the filthy conversation. Go ahead and read.
For that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds.
Keep reading.
The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation.
And this is what we came here for. You know, to look at Noah, look at Lot, but notice what he said. He said the Lord know how to deliver the godly out of temptations. Because that's what's coming on the world. That's why we just looked at it. It's called our temptation, right? But he know how to deliver you, sisters. He know how to get us out of this. But guess what? He ain't got to take you off to heaven nowhere. He ain't got to, we don't have to preach a rapture and come in here and lie to you, sisters and brothers. The Lord know how to get you out of this. And the way he got, the place that he got set up is called the wilderness, sisters and brothers. See, if you understand the wilderness, you know about the wilderness, sisters and brothers, then that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking where you're looking forward to go. But not, trying to, wait on a rapture and being deceived by false preachers and stuff like that. A few of us remember a few years ago, that guy Harold Camping, he had a lot of people going downtown Atlanta. May 23rd, 2011. Y'all remember that? Well, if you don't, somebody going to come up again. And they're going to say it's another rapture date. May 23rd, 2011, had people selling all their stuff. They was going downtown, not just in Atlanta, but different cities. And they would go downtown and wait for the Lord to come. The Lord ain't come, sisters and brothers. So you had some people sell all their stuff. And some people were selling it to the preachers. Why are you selling to the preacher if there's going to be a rapture? I think I would have been on game. Nah, preacher, let me get that Rolls Royce you got. Let me get that house you got. Since we're going to be raptured off, in case I don't make it. If I get left behind, I can live in your house. But he said, what the Lord know how to deliver the godly out of temptation. Go ahead and read, brother.
And to reserve the unjust until the day of judgment to be punished.
That's right. So, and that's what he's doing. Just like Satan them going to have to answer for all the stuff they did, how they sinned against God and got cast out. The Lord ain't letting that ride, just like with the false preachers, sisters and brothers. You may look at them and it may seem like they're getting away with it right now. They just raking in all the money, just deceiving the people, lying to them and stuff like that. Well, the Lord going to deal with them at a set time. But he also told you what? The Lord know how to deliver the godly out of temptation. God know how to get us out of this trouble that's coming. Let's go over to Hebrews chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11, we're going to pick it up at verse 7. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 7. When you get there, go ahead and read that for me. We got y'all calendars up here, too. We got a few of them, so if you need one, let me know.
Yes, sir.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 7. We're going to read that for me.
By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things.
Now, what it say about Noah? It said by faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I titled it, that's what you're going to need. Faith in God. See, it can't just be faith, you know, saying that you believe. James even tell you that faith without works is dead, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to have something to back up your faith. But it said by faith, Noah being warned of God did what?
Of things not seen as yet, moved with fear.
Right, but he hadn't seen it yet. The Lord told him it was going to rain. He told him he was going to destroy the earth. He told him to build an ark, but guess what? The rain wasn't there yet. But he had faith in what God said, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to have faith in all this stuff that the Lord showed you in the Bible. About the Great Tribulation that's coming. You know, the bad time that's getting ready to come on the world and you know, the place that he has to put his church. You're going to have faith in that. Even though you don't see you can look over at the desert now, it's over there around Jordan, Edom, Moab, and Ammon, which you're going to look at in the Bible, you know, where the Lord told us to go to. But, you know, ain't nothing over there right now. But guess what? We believing in that. We believing that the Lord going to hide his church in the wilderness. But Noah had some faith also. That's why he say by faith, Noah being warned of God of things not seen, it hadn't came yet, moved with fear. And that's how we operate. We scared of what's coming in the world. I even hear some people say, you know, I hope the Lord just going to take me out so I ain't got to be here during the time of the Great Tribulation. Why they say that? Because they move with fear. Mm-hmm. I don't say that. I move with fear, but I don't want to die. I'm scared to die. You understand what I'm saying? If the Lord take me, hey, okay, but I still don't want to die. I want to see the Lord come back through them clouds. I want to see my Redeemer. I want to be on my feet and alive when the Lord returns. But ain't nothing wrong with you wanting to die. Job said, what, hide me in the grave till your wrath be passed, right?
Yes,
you might mess around and get caught in the Great Tribulation. So I understand the thinking behind it. You know, get me out of it, you know. And people who say that, they have faith in getting up also in the resurrection, you see. You know. But he said by faith, Noah being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, did what?
Prepared an ark to the saving of his house.
But he had to do something, right? Mm-hmm. He had to prepare an ark. He had to go out there and build that ark, 100-something years, people looking at him like he's crazy. You know, probably talking bad. He would tell you he was a preacher, sisters and brothers. So what you think you doing? You going out here trying to warn your family. You know, I had some brother tell me, I had Brother Kevin tell me, hey, man, I need to sit down and talk to family, man, let them know what's coming on the world. And I say, man, just continue to live your life, you know, and your life going to be a witness. But listen, God got a way of scaling the hell out of everybody. You know, just like 9/11, everybody want to pray and call on God. You ain't seen nothing yet. 9/11 ain't got nothing on what the Lord is getting ready to bring. You think they was calling on God then? Everybody want to kumbaya, put up American flag. We all, black and white, we all together now, ain't it? As soon as everything calmed down, I'm back to being a Negro, ain't it? Come on now, let's just stop playing. Yes, everybody want to love each other when trouble comes. Because that's what happened with men. They get scared and want to call on God. So that's why I tell you, just relax. Just keep living. Keep on serving God. Hey, the Lord going to shake the world up real soon. Them family members you've been praying about, they're going to start coming asking questions. Hey, man, what I need to do? Hey, you look back during the time of Egypt. The same thing. People say, well, you know, what if I've been serving God all these years and then a person, you know, he just happened to serve God 2 days. He going to get the same reward? Yeah, he going to get the same reward. The Lord the Lord gave out judgment on Passover, didn't he? Mm-hmm. He didn't say if you've been serving me for 10 years, put blood on your doorpost, did he? He said when you put that blood on your door, and when I see the blood, I'm gonna pass over you. It didn't have nothing to do with how long. It had something to do with your faith, sisters and brothers. So we serving God right now. You know, when the Lord starts shaking things up, hey, them people, hey, them hearts gonna change immediately. You just be ready to answer them questions when they start asking. All right? But he said what? He said prepared an ark to the saving of his house. He had to go and put an ark together to save his family. Mm-hmm. Go on and read, brother. What else?
By the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith.
Now let's go over to Luke chapter 17. Luke 17. Luke chapter 17, we're going to pick this up at verse 26. Now go ahead and read that for me.
And as it was in the days of Noah,
Now this is referring to the Lord returning. It's saying, as it was in the days of Noah, what?
so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man.
Right, but they're asking God about his return. It says, just like it was in the days of Noah, Genesis chapter 6 let you know it was evil on the hearts of men continually. So just like it was back then, guess what? It's going to be the same way now in the end of the world, sisters and brothers. That's how you know where we at. That's how you know where we are in time. We at the end, sisters and brothers. The end of the world actually started after Jesus died. But now we're in the latter part of the end. In other words, it's almost over now. All the plan is over with now, sisters and brothers. Now it's time for you to go and sit down and start Googling some things that you've been doing. You like to eat pork and pray over it? Where you get that from? Look it up. Google it. You like to, play with Easter bunnies and eggs and stuff? You need to Google it. Where it come from? Because you ain't going to have no excuse, sisters and brothers. You got Google right at your fingertips, don't you? That's what they say, Google it, right? Just pull it up on your phone. See why you worshiping on Sunday. Where you get that from? Did God give it to you? If he didn't give it to you, then where you got it from? And then once you find out where it come from, then you need to let it go. It's all paganism. It has nothing to do with our God. The Lord told us to remember the Sabbath day, sisters and brothers. Mm-hmm. But he told you, and as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. What happened, brother?
They did eat. They drank. Mm-hmm. They married wives.
That's right. Keep reading.
They were given in marriage.
Right, so they were just partying all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. That's what they was doing during Noah's time. They was having a good time. They weren't just showing up to the altar, I want to get married. No, come on now. You know what he's talking about. He said what? They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until when?
Until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And the flood came and destroyed them all.
That's just how it's going to be at the end, sisters and brothers. This is what the Lord doing. He likening our time to the days of Noah. On my way coming back from the hospital this morning, I just see traffic everywhere. Everybody's still going about their business. And they don't even have no understanding about what's going on around them in the spiritual realm, in other words. When I say spiritual, I mean what God is controlling. As far as how the nations are starting to talk about war, Russia and China starting to move. You understand? Mm-hmm. Donald Trump starting to say things like we're going to take America out of all the world's problems. Because you do that, then Europe got to come on and defend for themselves. But the Bible tells you about the 10 nations that's going to come out of Europe. Everybody going on doing their thing and not paying attention. When it hit the world, it's going to be too late, sisters and brothers, just like it was in Noah's time. That's why he said what they did eat, they drank, they married wives. They were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And what else?
And the flood came.
Keep reading.
And destroyed them all.
That's right. Go ahead. Verse 28.
Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot.
Right. So now he going to add something else just in case you really can't see what's going on. He said like it was also in the days of Lot, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all know what was going on during the days of Lot, right?
Yes, sir.
It was nothing but it was homosexuality, same sex relationships going on, all that type of stuff. The Lord say just like it was back then, that's how it's going to be when he get ready to return. And if you ain't paying attention, listen, 20, 30 years ago, you couldn't have these comments. You had to be in the closet. Now you being a straight man, you got to go into the closet. We done flipped everything upside down, sisters and brothers.
Teach, bro.
But the Lord was letting you know this is how it's going to be in the end of the world. This is where we at now. He said, likewise, also as it was in the days of Lot. What else?
They did eat.
Right, so they was having a good time. They ate. What else?
They drank.
You know that's what happened at parties, right? Mm-hmm. See, what Jesus is doing, he just he giving you an idea of how they was just having a good time. Wasn't really paying attention. He said they did eat, they drank, what else?
They bought. They sold.
That's right, keep reading.
They planted. Mm-hmm. They builded.
That's right. See, they just going on with life like nothing gonna change. Like they just guaranteed to see another day, sisters and brothers. He said they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. What happened? 29.
But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone
from
heaven.
Oh, wait a minute. What happened?
It rained fire and brimstone from heaven.
But the Lord he got Lot out of there, and what he did, he rained fire and brimstone. Mm-hmm. But this is how it's going to be when the Lord get ready to return, sisters and brothers. But just pay attention. He got Lot out of the destruction, didn't he? Then he sent that fire and brimstone the same way with us. He's going to get us out of this great tribulation if you got faith to get to the place of safety, sisters and brothers. He'll get you out of this. Then he's going to bring this destruction. Go on and read. What else?
And destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed.
Go and skip down to verse 32. Go ahead.
Remember Lot's wife?
Right, because he told you it's going to be the same way when the Son of Man is revealed. That's how you know where we at. So this is how you measure time. You want to know how far, if we're in the Bible days or not? The Lord told you 2,000 years ago how it's going to be in the end. We're in the Bible days. We just got new clothes now. We ain't riding horses. We riding cars now. But, hey, that's just technology. But we still in the Bible days. I used to always wonder, Matthew 24 tell you that this gospel is going to be preached throughout the whole world. Then the end going to come. I always wonder, how you going to preach the gospel? Are we going to be walking from city to city? And then that internet came out. I say, man, wow. Because like I say, I don't care where you at. All you got to do is pull your phone up. And mostly everybody got phones. The majority of the world has a way to get in contact with technology, don't they? All over the world, they finding out who the Hebrews are, who the Israelites are. They getting the word because the gospel being preached throughout the whole world. But he say, even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Then he tell you in verse 32, he say, remember Lot's wife, didn't he? If you don't remember Lot's wife, the Lord told him to get out of the city and don't look back. Well, whether she looked back physically or mentally, the Lord turned into a pillar of salt. In other words, listen, when God tell you to get out of here, you ain't got time to be going back to get mama. I know you loving stuff like that. I know she, the matriarch of the family, but hey, if she don't want to deal with the gospel, you just going to have to leave. I love my mama. That's why I was there. I can do good on the Sabbath. I ain't know if she about to die or not, but hey, I still want to come keep the Sabbath. So as soon as my brother got there, I got to go, man. I ain't got nothing against, if you love your mama, your parents and stuff like that. But listen, when this time come on the world, you ain't got time for all that playing. You do all your preaching now. You do all your ministering now. You do everything you can to get them to change now. When the Lord shut the door, you want to be inside that wilderness. That's why he's telling you, remember Lot's wife, giving you an example. Don't look back. Don't try to hold on to the things of this world. Get yourself to the place of safety. Because there's a high probability that you can lose your salvation. You done did all this work. You've been keeping the Sabbath. You've been keeping the feast days. Serving God, keeping yourself in check with God. And then we get down to the Great Tribulation. You don't make it. They get ready to chop your head off. You take that mark of the beast. You done lost your salvation. What you did all this for? So when it's time, God give you an opportunity, you need to get out of here, sisters and brothers. Remember Lot's wife. What else it say?
Whosoever shall seek to save his life.
Right, so he say if you seek to save your life, talking about you don't want to let these things go, let these things of the world go, what he say?
Shall lose it.
You're going to end up losing it. Don't try to hold on to this stuff. All this stuff is vanity. All this stuff is material. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it. What else?
And whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it.
That's right. You lose your life for God, guess what? You're going to end up with that everlasting life at the end of the road. That's what we're looking for, right? That's what we're trying to get.
Yes, sir.
This is why we don't live like the world. This is why we don't do the things of the world. We're trying to get everlasting life. That's the reward at the end of this, sisters and brothers. Most people don't understand that. The Bible's so clear, though. It ain't like God got it, where you can't understand what he say. He say, for God so loved the world. Everybody say this, right? You heard this coming up. You might not knew what it meant. But he said, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe in him shall not perish but have what?
Everlasting life.
Everlasting life, right?
Yes,
that means you're going to live forever. That's what he said. He let you know what you're going to get if you do what he says, sisters and brothers. He ain't trying to hide it from you, but this is why we doing this, because we trying to get that ultimate prize of everlasting life. Now, if you don't get everlasting life in the kingdom with God, you're going to get everlasting life in the lake of fire. But you're going to get everlasting life. You just decide which one you want it on. You want it in the kingdom where you can eat and live forever, you know what I'm saying? And you ain't never got to worry about dying again, or you can hit that lake of fire, that second death, and you're going to burn forever. God loves you, but God is also the one behind this agenda to take this man's body and transform it and burn it forever, and it won't burn up. So understand who you're serving now. He said, whoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. We're losing everything that we do to serve God, sisters and brothers. And when it's all said and done, hopefully we got the faith to walk away from this world to get to the wilderness. Now let's go over to Ezekiel chapter 21. Ezekiel chapter 21. I need y'all to take notes on this before we move to Matthew 24. The reason being because when we get to Matthew 24 and we start seeing different things about the holy place and stuff like that, you already have an idea of what it's talking about. So Ezekiel chapter 21, we're just going to look at some major players and places in the end of the world. Ezekiel chapter 21, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. When you get there, go and read, brother. What it say?
And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face toward Jerusalem.
Now notice what the Lord is telling Ezekiel. He say, set thy face toward Jerusalem and what?
And drop thy word toward the holy places.
Right, he's saying, drop thy word toward the holy places. Keep reading.
And prophesy against the land of Israel.
Now, the reason I brought you here, because the holy place that we're going to read about in Matthew 24 is Jerusalem, sisters and brothers. There's no other place on the world that the Lord considered this holy place. That's why he tell you when he get back, he gonna deal with the controversy over Zion, because that's the Lord's land, sisters and brothers. You know, you got Edom over there fighting over Israel. You got the fake Arabs over there fighting over the land, Palestinians. They say it belonged to them, but actually the land belonged to the Israelites. It belonged to us. But the Lord sent us into captivity for our disobedience. He just let them move up in there for a time. But when he get back, he going to settle the controversy over Zion. But that's the holy place. That's why everybody want a piece of it. But the people that he gave it to, which happened to be a holy people, they got sent into captivity. And he going to bring us back, sisters and brothers. So you don't have to preach a doctrine about dying and going to heaven. Because you ain't going off to heaven, sisters and brothers. When you die, where you go at? You go, say that
to
again?
the grave.
Did somebody say Walmart? What did you say? I said when you die, where you go?
To the dirt.
Right, you go back to the dirt. That's where you go. I thought somebody said Walmart. Because we got to wake up. But that's where you go when you die. You go back to the dirt, sisters and brothers. Only person that want to go to heaven is Satan. That's where he came from. But us, man, when we die, we go back to the grave, sisters and brothers. But even us as a nation of people, we had a land that we come from. The Lord promised our forefather Abraham the land of Israel. That's what he gave to the Israelites. And since we disobeyed God, the Lord sent us into captivity. Not forever, though. Not forever, just for a time, sisters and brothers. And he's going to bring us back. But he says, Son of man, set thy face toward Jerusalem and drop thy word toward the holy places and prophesy against the land of Israel. But Jerusalem is the holy place. Israel is the holy place, sisters and brothers.
Sir.
That belongs to the Lord. Y'all keep that in mind. Go over to Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 11. Just a few pointers I want to make sure y'all put down before we move on. Then you'll understand it. So we're going to have to come back to what we're looking at now. Revelation chapter 11. Going to pick this up at verse 1. All right, go ahead and read that for me, brother.
And there was given me a reed like unto a rod. And the angel stood, saying, Rise, and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth.
All right, so this is the end right here. This is what the Lord's showing John. In Revelations, right? And it said that was in verse 1, there was given me a reed like unto a rod, that's used for measuring. And the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. Because that's what's going to happen when Jesus get back to the earth. He's going to have a temple that's going to be built where he's going to dwell from, right? But this is when the Lord get back. See, what's going to be going on, once we get into the wilderness, we're going to be in the wilderness for 3.5 years, all right? Hide from the Great Tribulation. And then when Jesus get back on this earth, he going back to the wilderness. This is where he bringing Israel to the wilderness. He going to be in there another 3.5 years. And while he's in the wilderness for 3.5 years, guess what's going to be going on in Jerusalem? Jerusalem going to get rebuilt before the Lord walk into Jerusalem. That's why a lot of people don't understand. You're not going into right into Zion or Jerusalem when the Lord get back. The Lord going to take the church into the wilderness. We going there first if we got to understand. But when the Lord get back and he gather these slaves from all over the world, he's not finna take them right off into Jerusalem. He's taking them right to the wilderness. And that's where he's going to put that law out there. He's going to put that dietary law. You still like that pig, guess what? He's going to kill you right then on the spot. You like to commit adultery, he's going to kill you right then on the spot. You like to steal, he's going to kill you right then on the spot. He's going to give you a choice, though. You either going to serve him or you're not, but he's going to kill you. See, that's what's going to happen in the wilderness. Before you walk into the promised land, you got to get that mind right, sisters and brothers. But while he's dealing with that, sorting everything out in the wilderness, Jerusalem going to get rebuilt by Zerubbabel. And this is why he's saying in Revelation 11:1, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. Because they're going to go in there and rebuild Jerusalem. Go ahead and read what else? Verse 2.
But the court which is without the temple.
But the court that's on the outside of the temple, or the court of the Gentiles, don't measure that. Don't worry about that. Why?
Leave out and measure it not.
That's right. Keep reading.
For it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall be tread underfoot 40 and 2 months.
Right. So there's a certain part of the city in Jerusalem that's right outside the temple. The Lord telling them, don't measure that. Don't even worry about that, because that's going to be given to the Gentiles for 40 and 2 months. Now, if you don't know who the Gentiles are, that's the Europeans. Those are the ones that run the world, sisters and brothers. Mm-hmm. And it's going to come a time when it's going to climax, where the Lord going to allow them to run the world for 3.5 years by way of the Pope, all right, or the papacy. It may not be this particular Pope that's in office right now, but it's going to come out of that office. All right, and what's going to end up happening is these people that call themselves Jews, all you got to do is look it up. These people that call themselves Jews, they want to get a temple built right now. They already got the priests ready. They done went so far a couple years ago, they said we're going to start, producing our own red heifers, because they're going to start a daily sacrifice. They're going to kill a lamb in the morning. They're going to kill a lamb in the evening. See, they think they us. This is what our fathers were doing, sisters and brothers. But they think they us. So they're going to start picking this stuff back up. They're going to build a temple over in Jerusalem, and the Pope going to come over there, and he going to stand in the temple saying that he is God. And this is why Revelation verse 11:2 is saying, the court which is on the outside of the temple that God is going to have built for them, don't mess with that. I mean, for him, don't mess with that, because it's going to be given to them for 40 and 2 months. Y'all know how long 40 and 2 months is?
3.5
That's
years.
3.5 years, sisters and brothers. The Gentiles, they're going to run it. They're already running it now. But by way of this Pope of Rome, he going to come into full power for 3.5 years. He going to go into straight destruction. If you don't worship him, guess what? He cutting your head off. Look up the Roman Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, sisters and brothers. He bringing it back. You're going to be considered a heretic for keeping the Sabbath day. You're going to be considered a heretic for keeping God's commandments. But it's all getting ready to come back, sisters and brothers. He said, the court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. What is saying, verse 3, brother?
And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses.
But notice now, he said the holy city. What's the holy city?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, right?
Yes, sir. Okay,
y'all been taking notes. Good. I was making sure. He said the holy city, talking about Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. They're going to tread under 40 and 2 months. And he said, I'm going to give power unto my 2 witnesses. Now you may think to yourself, why we got 2 witnesses? Well, God, like I told you earlier, he don't really do anything that much different. Like during the time of when the Israelites came out of Egypt last time, he had 2 people that represented him, didn't he? Mm-hmm. He had Moses and Aaron. So now at this time, he's going to have 2 witnesses. That's going to counterbalance what's going on. You're going to have the Pope of Rome and his beast doing what, the beast that lead the military part of the papacy, doing their thing, and the Lord going to have his own 2 represent him. He said, I'm going to give power to my 2 witnesses. Go ahead and read.
And they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth.
Right, so that's 1,260 days. 1 score is 20, 2 score is 40, 3 score is 60. That's 1,260 days, sisters and brothers. That's 42 months, 3.5 years. This is the time of the Great Tribulation. It's not 7 years. So don't let nobody tell you that. You got 3.5 years. This is how long the Great Tribulation gonna last, and this is how long you need to be in the wilderness. Mm-hmm. If you get to the place of safety, the Lord will protect you from this bad time that's coming on the world. So he said, I'm gonna give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Now let's go over to Matthew chapter 24. I'm sorry, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. So just keep that in mind. The Gentiles, they're going to tread down the city for 40 and 2 months. The people that call themselves Jews, which is considered Edomites or Esau, Jacob's twin brother, they're going to build a temple in Jerusalem. They're going to build a temple in Jerusalem, but that's not for God. That's not for the true and living God. But let's see what's going to happen once they build that temple. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And go and pick this up at verse 1. Go and read that for me.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of the Christ is at hand.
Right, so this is referring to the Lord returning. He said, we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. In other words, don't let nobody come to you, and if it ain't lining up with the word, don't be moved by it, in other words. Go ahead and read, brother.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Because that's very important now. We're going to see Jesus going to tell you the same thing regarding the end of the world. But Paul is saying the same. He said, let no man deceive you by any means. Okay, how good it sounds. I don't care how many visions people saying they have. If it don't line up with the word of God, don't be deceived. He said, let no man deceive you by any means for what?
For that day shall not come, except they come a falling away first.
That's right. And we're in the throes of a falling away right now, sisters and brothers. That's why it's not too many people that's dealing with the word, because the famine done covered the earth, sisters and brothers. But he said, what a falling away got to come first. Go ahead and read.
And that man of sin be revealed.
And that man of sin be revealed. Now remember this, guy. Because not only do you have to pay attention to the places that's important or that play a major role in this, but you got to pay attention to the person or the people that play a very important role in this. And it says what? They come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed. Who is he?
The son of perdition.
The son of perdition, the son of destruction. He getting all this power from Satan, sisters and brothers. But it's still coming out of the papacy. The son of perdition, that's another name. A man of sin is one of his names. The son of perdition is another name. He got several names. Go ahead and read. What else?
Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God.
Keep reading. He don't care how much you serve God. He going to consider himself higher than our God, sisters and brothers. That's why he said, who oppose and exalt himself above all that is called God. Go ahead and read.
Or that is worship.
Keep reading.
So that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God.
Wait a minute, what temple he gonna sit in? The one that the Lord, the spot where the Lord told them not to measure out?
Yes, sir.
Because it's given to the Gentiles for 40 and 2 months.
Yes,
they're gonna put a temple right there. And guess what? He gonna come sit in that temple. That's why the Lord said don't measure that. It's given to the Gentiles for 40 and 2 months. But this man of sin, the son of perdition, who we're reading about now, he gonna come sit in that temple. All you gotta do is look it up. You might be able to type in your phone, fake Jews trying to build a temple. No, you ain't gonna do that. You might have to type in Jewish people trying to build a temple.
Yes, sir.
It might be in there. Some Hebrew probably put it online like that. But you're gonna have to pull up Jewish people trying to build a temple. You'll see that they in the works trying to get it done now. And a lot of people understand that once they get this temple built, sisters and brothers, it's gonna start the destruction on the black man. We're just seeing a little bit of it now. You know, you're just seeing a little bit of the trouble that's happening to us now. A Negro get killed. Remember they used to march. A few years ago, they was marching. They was going crazy about it. They was fighting all. Now, listen, we done got tired. We can't do nothing no more. Turn the TV on, another man get shot by the police. Hey, all right, hey, we ain't got no power, sisters and brothers. Our power's in the Most High God, but this is getting you ready for the Great Tribulation. It's called Jacob's trouble, sisters and brothers. Who you think they're going to be coming against? Majority who the world going to be coming against, or this Catholic Church, it's going to be the Israelites. Like I told you a while back, I saw a list of different denominations that have something to do with the world religions. Guess what? Hebrews wasn't a part of it. I saw a whole list of them, sisters and brothers. I'm looking on the list. I'm like, do we see Hebrews? Do we see Israelites? You ain't see them nowhere. Because you got Satan's seed, you got the woman's seed. And we fall up under the woman's seed, sisters and brothers. And this is who Satan going to be coming after. But he said, what? Who oppose and exalt himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sit in the temple of God. Doing what?
Showing himself that he is God.
Skip down to verse 7 and read it.
For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
Now, this Paul talking. He said, for the mystery of iniquity, or the man of sin, or mystery of sin, it's already in the workings. It was already around back during Paul's time. But hey, it's going to come into fruition while we here now. Like he going to make himself known to the world real soon. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. What else?
Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
Keep reading.
And then shall that wicked be revealed.
See, the Lord is the one that's allowing him to, run right now, rule right now. Whether you know it or not, he's a king. People don't understand that. I understand we got Trump and, he's the president of the United States. Another name, he's the king of the United States. Got all these different presidents and prime ministers in different countries and stuff like that. They rule those particular places. But the Pope, you know what the Bible called him? The Bible called him a king, sisters and brothers. But he get his power from Satan. He say, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now will let. The Lord is the one that's letting him do this. Until he be taken out of the way. Then what's going to happen? Verse 8.
Shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
That's right. All the Lord got to do is say something. He going to destroy him. Go ahead and read verse 9.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan.
Wait a minute. Where he get his power from? After the working of who?
Satan.
After the working of Satan. Go ahead and read.
With all power and signs and lying wonders.
That's right. That's what he going to do at the end. He going to make a statue talk. Make a statue walk and all this type of stuff. Hey, people going to be deceived by that. All you got to do is do some magic and people going to follow it like it's God. But that's what's going to happen in the end, sisters and brothers. That's why I say even him who's coming is after the working of Satan. With all power and signs and lying wonders. This is where this man going to get all this power from, sisters and brothers. From Satan. Now let's go over to Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24. Because you may be wondering, well, when we gotta leave. Well, listen, the Lord gonna make sure you know when you gotta go, sisters and brothers. It ain't like God is hiding none of this stuff. He got it in the Bible. You just gotta keep them commandments. Once you start keeping the commandments, the Lord start making things a lot clearer to you. So Matthew 24, go and pick this up at verse 3. What does it say, brother?
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
That's right, because they came to Jesus showing them Solomon's temple being rebuilt. Lord just went on and threw egg on their face and told them, hey, I understand you're happy about the temple being rebuilt, Solomon's temple, but it's going to be destroyed. So they came and asked the Lord, 3 things, very important things that we need to know in our time. When shall these things be? Talking about the temple being destroyed. When shall these things be? What shall be the sign of thy coming, which pertains to us, and the end of the world? Because the temple was destroyed in 70 A.D., sisters and brothers. But we still have 2 more that we got to look at. What shall be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? What did he say, brother?
And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you.
Right, did he say take heed, watch out for the thief? Did he say take heed and watch out for the murderer? No, he said take heed that no man deceive you, sisters and brothers. Listen, if you can get deceived in your mind, that's worse than anything else, sisters and brothers. That's why Satan is, that's why you have a battle going on inside your head. Before you actually commit that evil act, you fighting it out inside your mind, sisters and brothers. Paul told you about that in Romans chapter 7, didn't he? Told you he got a war going inside his mind.
Yes, sir.
The things that he don't want to do, he end up doing. The things that he should do, he end up not doing that. That's the same with us now, that you got these wars going on in your mind. But the way you fight them wars in your mind, sisters and brothers, you got to stay in the word of God. You can't take a break on serving God. You can't take a break on studying the Bible. You got to continually study, because Satan is always trying to get you in your mind, sisters. That's why we see brothers and sisters coming to the word. They be so happy about serving God, then months later they done turned away from the word. Because some done got in and started deceiving them. But the Lord warned you about that. He said, what? Take heed that no man deceive you. That's what you need to be paying attention to. Especially somebody that's coming out of the pulpit. This is why we're reading the Bible. Showing you what God is. Hey, brother, Nate ain't write this. We reading what Jesus gave us some years ago. And we seeing it happening right now. He said, take heed that no man deceive you. What else?
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ.
That's right. He said, many going to come in my name saying I am Christ. They may come and admit that he is a Christ, or they may come as if they're Christ. But the point is, you need to watch out for them. He said, for many going to come in my name saying I am Christ. And what are they going to do?
And shall deceive many.
They're going to deceive many. All you got to do is slap Jesus on it. People believe it. But pay attention, though. They don't come in the name of Yahweh, do they? Not to say there's anything wrong with that. Just don't be bashing on us because we believe in Jesus, though. Because he said they're going to come in my name saying I am Christ and shall deceive many. Go on, skip down. Well, keep reading, brother. What it say?
And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
Uh-huh.
See that you be not troubled.
That's right. And we got a lot of that going on nowadays, right? He said you're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. And this has been going on for years. Every time we settle one incident, then another war come up. I mean, it went from Iraq. Remember, Iraq in 93. Then it went from Iraq to Afghanistan. Now it's Syria. Just keep going on and going on, right? The Lord told you this is going to happen. You're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. Don't be troubled by that. Go ahead and read.
For all these things must come to pass.
See, this stuff got to happen. He said, for all these things must come to pass. Keep reading.
But the end is not yet.
But it ain't over with. He said, this ain't the end, though. Keep reading.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places.
Right, so you got this going on. You got different famines and stuff like that, where people having trouble with, surviving as countries, food-wise and stuff like that. You got this going on in the world. Pestilence, different diseases all over and stuff like that. But he said what? He said in addition, in earthquakes in diverse places. There's been earthquakes going on, but it's an uptick in them now, ain't they? They bigger than they used to be. Now they come and happen in all sorts of places, but the Lord let you know this is going to happen. He says it's going to be earthquakes in diverse places. What is this verse 8?
All these are the beginning of sorrow.
So this is just the beginning, sisters and brothers. So you're going to have different things that go. You're going to have different troubles that's going to come, sisters and brothers. But this is just the beginning of sorrows. But he's going to give you an example of what's going to climax the trouble. That's going to take see, in order for it to be the Great Tribulation, we got to have some tribulation, right? So we got a little trouble going on. That's just the beginning of sorrows. But you're going to have some stuff that's going to be worse than that. But go and pick it up at verse 11. What does it say, brother?
And many false prophets shall rise.
So how you going to be deceived? He said many false prophets going to rise. And what they going to do?
Shall deceive many.
They just going to deceive a little bit.
Shall deceive many.
That's why you're going to have all these people in church tomorrow on Sunday, which is the first day of the week. The Lord said, remember the Sabbath day. If you don't know what the Sabbath day is, it's the seventh day of the week. How is it that you got a calendar? On the first day on your calendar, start with an S, right? It don't go Sunday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It goes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? That lets you know the first S is day 1. Let you know the last S on the end is day number 7. He said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it up. But how is it that everybody going to church tomorrow being deceived through the false prophet? He said what? False prophets going to rise and they going to deceive many sisters and brothers. But it's real simple, though. And many false prophets going to rise and shall deceive many. What else?
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
That's right. Keep reading.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
So what you got to do? If you want to be saved, what you got to do? You got to endure unto the end, right?
Yes, sir.
That means you can't just quit in the middle of the race now. You got to endure all the way until the end, sisters and brothers. What else to say?
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations.
Right, because ain't nobody gonna have no excuse. He said, "This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations." Won't nobody have no excuse, sisters and brothers. Then he said, "Then shall the end come." Go ahead and read.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation.
Because see, now we at the end, but now we finna climax it. We finna top it off now. He said, "When you therefore shall see what."
The abomination of desolation.
So another name for this abomination of desolation is son of perdition, like we saw in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. The man of sin, mystery of iniquity. Jesus himself is giving you another name. He's called what? The abomination of desolation. This is the man of destruction, sisters and brothers. He said, when you see this abomination of desolation, go ahead and read.
Spoken of by Daniel the prophet.
Wait a minute, he just took you back to the Old Testament, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
See, we got a problem with the Old Testament when your salvation is off in the Old Testament. That's why the Lord is referring you back to the Old Testament. He's telling you, hey, this is what you need to go read. You need to go find out about this man. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, because Daniel's talked about it. We're going to look at it. Stand where?
In the holy place.
So what's the holy place?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, right?
Yes, sir.
That's why we went to look at this stuff first, so we ain't got to go back. But you understand, he said, when you see this abomination of desolation, stand in the holy place. This holy place we talking about Jerusalem. But how is he going to stand there? He going to walk inside the temple, because remember, they're going to build a temple. And he going to go off in that temple saying, I am God, right? Mm-hmm. But this is who it is. This is the abomination of desolation. Go ahead and read, brother.
Whoso readeth, let him understand.
You got to get some understanding. All right, but now let's go over to Daniel chapter 11. He said, when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, who shall read, let him understand. That means when you read this, and Daniel, you got to get some understanding on the sisters and brothers. Because you need to be out of here when this happens. Daniel chapter 11. We're going to pick this up at verse 31. Daniel 11:31. Go ahead and read that, brother.
An arm shall stand on his part.
Notice what he said. He said an arm's going to stand on his part. What we talking about when we say arm? Y'all still turning? Y'all ain't got that yet? Let me know when y'all get that. I ain't playing this turn. I ain't trying to leave nobody. No child left behind.
No, sir.
Everybody there? Oh, man. All right. So he's saying arm's going to stand on his part, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Jesus was telling you about. He said, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso read, let him understand. But now we going back to Daniel, and we seeing how he going to stand. It said arms. Talking about arm is going to stand on his part. Arm is going to represent him. When you see them start coming into to Jerusalem, listen, you down to like your last 30 days, you need to make some moves. And arm's going to stand on his part. Go ahead and read.
And they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength.
They're going to go in there and take down the temple. They're going to go off in Jerusalem. They're going to pollute the sanctuary of strength. Go ahead and read.
And shall take away the daily sacrifice.
So in order for them to take away the daily sacrifice, that means somebody got to be sacrificing some animals, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I was telling you about Edom. They already got the priest set up. All you got to do is look this stuff up, sisters and brothers. You'll see that Edom is already training they little, I guess they little boys or whatever they trying to, whatever you call it. They ain't priests because we the priests. But they training these guys, to do stuff that we used to do. Because they're going to bring the sacrifices back. So when this man of sin come through there, he going to stop the daily sacrifice. They're going to sacrifice a lamb in the morning. They're going to sacrifice a lamb in the evening. That's why they trying to get a red heifer, sisters and brothers. All you got to do is type in the Temple Institute, and you'll see that they trying to get all this stuff together. They got a big old drive going. They want to get the temple built. That's a lot. That's a big reason all this stuff is going on with Trump going over there making Jerusalem the capital of Israel now. Because whether you know it or not, the next thing on his agenda, he said, now we're going to get this temple built. Y'all better pay attention because we're at the end of the world, sisters and brothers. See, we ain't got time to be shaking it up, shaking it down, speaking in tongues, flipping and doing all that nonsense. The world is coming to an end. And God has put some in the Bible to warn you on what you need to do to save yourself. That's why I hear so many people say, well, I wonder how we are exactly in the Bible days and we right on schedule. And if you ain't doing what God says, you right on schedule for the lake of fire, sisters and brothers. He's saying, arms going to stand on this part. They're going to pollute the sanctuary of strength, and they shall take away the daily sacrifice. And what they going to do, brother?
And they shall place the abomination that make it desolate.
Right, so the armies, they're going to stop the daily sacrifice, and they're going to take this man of sin, this abomination that make desolate, they're going to place him. Go ahead and read.
And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries.
Go ahead.
By the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits.
That's right, because some people going to be here. Some people going to get caught during this time. He said, but the people that do know their God, they're going to do exploits. They're going to sit up here and all the stuff that he's doing, they're going to be calling that stuff out. They're gonna be exposing it. That's why he's gonna be coming against you. He gonna stop down the truth, sisters and brothers. If you get caught in the Great Tribulation, you sitting up here preaching against what he's doing, he coming after you. Such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. People that don't keep the commandments, say you're going to be deceived by the flatteries and the words that come out of his mouth. And all the different signs and wonders that he's doing. But if you, God's people, you happen to get caught, hey, he ain't going to be able to deceive you. But the people that do know that God shall be strong and do exploits, what else?
And they that understand among the people shall instruct many.
Uh-huh.
Yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by spoil many days.
Right, so this is why you want to get out of here. This is why you don't want to be here. That's why I tell people I love y'all, but I'm leaving y'all. If y'all ain't ready to go, I'm out of here, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm gone. I love everybody in here, hey. But I ain't got time for this. I saw this years ago. When I was a little kid, I read Matthew 24. So in my head, that was God's sign letting me know that it's gonna be time for you to get out of here. When all the pieces to the puzzle came together some years ago, when I came into the Word, Matthew 24 made sense. I read Matthew 24 when I was like 8, 9 years old, and it scared me my whole life. I was out in the world doing things against God. I was still scared about Matthew 24. And then when I came to the truth and I saw Daniel and I seen how the Lord put it together, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe he was letting me know I got a way out. So I ain't got time to be sitting up here waiting on y'all. God give you other numbers in the Bible where it just won't be where we have to wait exactly to the end to make a move. He give us some other numbers, that we know about, that we'll talk about at a later time. But the point is, hey, just like I'll be getting ready, you need to be getting ready. I'll be calling me, Nate, can you come back and get me? Nope, I ain't come back to get nobody. I'm just letting you know right now. Because it's the Great Tribulation. So we're going to try to make some moves early. We're going to try to do things to help out the person that can't move. Maybe somebody, that can't get around like all of us. Hey, we're going to do things to help you earlier. We ain't going to wait till the last minute, sisters and brothers. He said, they that understand among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword and by flame, by captivity and by spoil many days. Verse 34, what it say, brother?
Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help.
Right, so the Lord going to help us out a little bit. What else?
But many shall cleave to them with flatteries.
And you're going to have a lot of people turning to the word of God. A lot of people going to hear what's being said by the saints, and hey, they'll turn. But hey, God got a purging system going on too. What it say?
And some of them of understanding shall fall.
Right. So hey, the ones that actually turn to the word of God, because they've been ministered to during this time of Great Tribulation, they're gonna look at the person that's been ministering to them. They're gonna end up falling. So guess what? You got to make a choice now. Do you really want to serve this guy? This guy that just preached to you about the gospel, he just got his head cut off. You want to do this? You sure you want to do this? That's why he say what? He said, some of them of understanding shall fall to do what?
To try them.
To try those ones that change. Oh, I believe your God. I want to serve your God. And then that person that preaches got his head cut off. You sure you want to serve this guy? He said what? And some of them of understanding shall fall to try them and to what else?
And to purge.
And to purge. Y'all seen that movie, The Purge, right? Well, this is the real purge right here. He said, and to purge and to do what?
And to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed.
Right, so this is going to happen at the end. The Lord was telling Daniel this way in the Old Testament, but it's appointed for our time. We in this time, sisters and brothers. All right, but now go back over to Matthew 24.
You want 36?
Yeah, go to 36, I'm sorry. We need this one. Go ahead, what it say?
And the king shall do according to his will.
But notice what the Bible called him. The Bible called him a king, right? He said, the king shall do according to his will. Why do you think everywhere he go, everybody, try to pay so much homage to him? Like they move him around in the glass mobile. Y'all ever see that? Because they treat him like a king, because that's what the Bible called him, sisters and brothers. Right now, he just, he speaking all peaceably and stuff like that. He talking all nice. But he going to use them same nice words, to turn against you if you're speaking against what he say. Because that's the king of the world right now. He get his power from Satan, sisters and brothers. He saying the king shall do according to his will. And what else he going to do?
He shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every God and shall speak marvelous things
Right, so
against the God of
regardless
gods.
of your God, our God that we serve, if you serve, if you deal with Islam, which is a false doctrine anyway, you ain't going to be messing with none of that stuff. When he come, you ain't worshiping nobody else but him. That's why it says, and the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every God. Go ahead and read.
And shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods.
No, now he's going to talk against our God. That's the God of all gods. He said what? And he going to speak marvelous things against the God. Where you think you get all this, all these lies that are going on? Easter, Christmas, sun worship, and all that type of stuff. They try to sweeten it up now to Resurrection Sunday. That ain't in the Bible. The Lord say, remember my death, right? That means, in other words, you're going to keep the Passover. Not to say that, hey, in order for us to be saved, Jesus had to go through that 3-part process. He had to be killed, he had to go into the grave, and he had to be raised up, sisters and brothers. But he didn't tell you to make up something called Resurrection Sunday, did he? He didn't tell you to make up something called Easter. He said, remember the Passover, sisters and brothers. Pointing to his death, showing that he died and shed his blood for our sins. But this man going to give you something else and then stamp some bunnies on it. Just a bunch of folly, sisters and brothers. But it all come out of Rome. This is who you need to be watching. He going to speak marvelous things against the God of gods and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished for what?
For that is determined shall be done.
Right, it's going to happen, sisters and brothers. He said, for that is determined shall be done. Now let's go over to Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24. Figured it's about time we look at this class. I wasn't going to deal with it for a while. And it's funny, Brother Elijah teaching the same thing in California today. So I guess there's a lot of questions that's been going on about this. And by the time we look at some things, because I know a lot of people coming to the Word, and y'all may hear us make statements in passing about get to the wilderness. We ain't really touched on it. So that's what this is about today. So you can actually have some understanding, because God does have a way to save his church, sisters and brothers. Matthew 24, pick it up at verse 16. What does it say, brother?
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
Right, because in 15 he told us, when you see the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place, go back to Daniel and get some understanding. But right after that he said, then let them which be in Judea wait on the rapture.
Flee into the mountains.
What do you say you got to do?
Flee into the mountains.
That means you got to run, right? Mm-hmm. Now he's giving you a certain place you need to run to. He said you need to flee into the mountains. But if God is coming back rapturing off the church and stuff like that, then why we got to flee? And then on top of that, you may say, well, I'm in America. I'm not in Judea. Where I'm going to flee at? Because right here, clearly, he said, if you're in Judea, flee into the mountains, right? We're way over here in America. We ain't over there. But guess what, though? He also going to let you know you need to run also, sisters and brothers. We need to get to this place of safety. He said, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains, because it's going to be a bad time. He let you know when you see this man, in other words, when you see them armies coming there and stand on behalf of this man, listen, if you ain't got out of here and got to the wilderness, you need to be booking over that way now. You ain't got much time, because once the doors are shut, just like the door was shut on the ark, it was over with. When the Lord shut the doors on the wilderness, sisters and brothers, that's it. You're going to have to deal with this great tribulation for 3.5 years. And that's a long time. He said, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Go on and read verse 17.
Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Notice what he say, though. He say, hey, listen, if you're on the housetop, not saying that you're going to be on the housetop, but the point is showing how important it is for you to run. You ain't got time to come back to the house. You ain't got time to come get, friends and family. If they ain't already on board, listen, you got to go. He say what? He say, neither let him which is on the housetop not come down and take anything out of his house. What else?
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
That's right. You ain't got, listen, I know you be thinking to yourself, how are we going to eat? What are we going to wear over there? You ain't got to worry about that. Just get to the wilderness, right? Leave your wardrobe in your closet. Just call your family and be like, hey, you can have this. Give them the keys to your house. You can have my car. You can have all that stuff. It's time to go. They ain't going to be able to do nothing with it. You ain't got to worry about why you're gone. Just get out of here. He's telling you don't come back to get nothing. But I know you may be thinking to yourself, well, how are we going to eat? I hear the question so many times. How are we going to eat? How are we going to get there? We need a passport to get over there? Listen, did Israel need a passport to get out of Egypt?
No, sir.
Did they need clothes to get to the wilderness when the Lord brought them out? Matter of fact, God had this thing rigged up so smooth that the Egyptians were giving them gold and silver. You know what I'm saying? They tell you that they spoiled the Egyptians. They gave them so much gold that, hey, they built a molten calf out of gold, sisters and brothers. So the point is, you ain't got to worry about taking nothing. You just got to have the faith to get out of here when it's time, sisters and brothers. That's why Jesus is implying this. He said, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. What else?
And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Keep reading, because it's going to be a bad time. Hey, you might have a child at the time, young children. You know, around Israel, we have a lot of kids. But the point is, woe unto them that are with child and give suck in those days. It may be a lot more harder for you to, get around at that time. That's why you really don't want to wait till the last 30 days to make a move. I ain't saying you need to rush it or nothing like that, but pay attention to the sign. God gonna give you another sign. Like I said, we'll look at it at some other time. But he said, what? Woe unto them that are with child and to them that give suck in those days. Verse 20.
But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter.
Because it be cold outside, don't it? He talking about pray you ain't got to fleet in the wintertime. Like I tell you, some of the coldest thugs go in the house when it's cold outside, don't it? They be popping guns all summer. As soon as it get cold, they be in the house. Where you at? I'm in the house, man. You supposed to be a thug. Man. That cold sit you down, man. It tell you that in Psalms. But the point is, pray ye that your flight is not in the wintertime. Go in and read.
Neither on the Sabbath day.
So whatever you mean by this, we do know that the Sabbath is still around. But why he say pray that it's, not on that time, maybe it's a bad time in Jerusalem. Maybe ain't nothing going on over at that time. Just pray that it don't happen on this particular day. We can't make nothing out of it. Go ahead and read, brother.
For then shall be great tribulation.
But notice what he says, though. When it's abomination and desolation standing in the holy place, what are we doing? We going into the climax of the trouble now. We got to the beginning of sorrows, but he letting you know then it's going to be great tribulation. It's going to be a bad time now. For then shall be great tribulation. Go ahead and read.
Such as was not since the beginning of the world.
Right, so we ain't never, even back all the way to Noah time. Noah time was bad, and if you look back in history or you think about it, people still talk about how the world was flooded. That was something bad that took place, sisters and brothers. Even all the way down to how we went off into captivity. Some people give you the number of 100 million Negroes got killed during the transatlantic slave trade. That's a lot of deaths, sisters and brothers. But the Bible's still telling you it ain't got nothing on this great tribulation. This is why it's so important for you to get out of here. He said what? For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time no, nor ever shall be. Go on and read verse 22.
And except those days should be shortened.
So if the Lord didn't shorten the days, go on and read.
There should no flesh be saved.
So if the Lord didn't come back and stop and listen, won't nobody be saved. All of us will be dead, and there is a capability that we can all be wiped out now, right? All you got to do is a couple nuclear weapons. That's it for mankind. But the Lord ain't going to allow that to happen. He said, and except those days to be shortened, talking about during this time frame that he making reference to, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect, say what?
Those days shall be shortened.
That's right. He ain't going to allow us to die. He's going to shorten the day. But now let's go over to Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12, because he told them if you're in Judea, you need to flee, right? So let's look at this woman. Revelation chapter 12. Because I ain't put this in the class. Genesis chapter 37, you go and see who this woman is. It's really talking about Israel, sisters and brothers. That's who the woman is. But I ain't put it in here because it would be a lot. So Revelation 12 verse 6, go and read that.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had the place prepared of God, that they should feed her 1,260 days.
Right, but the woman that we talking about, sisters and brothers, Israel is the Lord's bride. They've always been the woman that the Lord's been married to. All right, the Roman Catholic Church, listen, the Bible considered her the mother of harlots. This is where you get all your false doctrine from. whether it be Presbyterian, Episcopalian, Baptist, Seventh-day Adventist, Islam. You get all this stuff from the mother of harlots. All right? That she's called a harlot. She say that she's married to God, but she ain't married to God. God's wife is the church, sisters and brothers. She's considered that woman. And when this great tribulation started, the Lord going to have a place for this woman, for his church. Not just the ones that be in Judea, but the ones that are all his church that's scattered throughout the whole world, he got a place for them. That's why it's saying in verse 6, and the woman fled into the wilderness. That means you're going to have to run into the wilderness also. Because we make up this woman. We make up this church. We're the ones that are married to God. He said the woman fled into the wilderness where she has a place prepared of God that what?
That they should feed her.
Wait a minute. So you got to worry about food? He said he going to do what there?
Feed her there.
He going to feed her there. So you ain't got to worry about trying to bring no vegetables. You're going to be all right. He said that they should feed her there for how long?
1,203 score days.
That's right. Hey, listen, that's 3.5 years, 42 months. That's how long this great tribulation gonna last. But he said what? That they're gonna feed her there 1,200. Listen, now, hey, it may be physical and spiritual food we gonna be eating, but we gonna be taken care of. That's the point. He said he's gonna feed her there 1,203 score days. Go and skip down to verse 13 and keep reading.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman.
Right. So now we saw that Satan was cast out earlier. To hell, didn't we? Mm-hmm. But now Revelation is saying that when the dragon saw that he was cast out to earth, that's who the dragon is. That old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world, sisters and brothers. That's just different names for him. All right? But it says what? When he saw that he was cast out into that, when the dragon saw that he was cast out into the earth, he did what?
Persecuted the woman, which brought forth the man-child.
Right, and the woman that brought forth the man-child is Israel. The man-child we talking about is Jesus. Jesus came out of Israel. That's why he was considered a Jew. He came from one of the 12 tribes, the tribe of Judah, sisters and brothers. But when Satan saw that he was cast out, or the dragon, he persecuted the woman. That's why we catching all this hell as a people, sisters and brothers. But not only that, the church more so going to catch way more hell real soon, sisters and brothers. Whether you're Israel in the flesh or Israel spiritually. Because that's essentially what it's going to boil down to. Who you going to serve? So he said when the dragon saw he was cast out into the earth, he persecuted the woman, which brought forth the man-child by way of Herod, where he tried to kill off Jesus. It tell you, I think, around verse 7. But they persecuted the woman, talking about Israel, and Herod tried to kill Jesus, sisters and brothers. I'll tell you that, and let's see here. I don't know what verse it is. I'm trying to see where he tried to kill Jesus. But anyway, I think it's verse 7. Go and read. What it say?
14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and at times, and a half time from the face of the serpent.
All right, so we'll look at that. But verse 4 says, and his tail drew the third part of the stars, talking about Satan. Because when he got cast out, he brought a third of the angels with him, sisters and brothers. And he did cast into the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman, talking about Israel, which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. But that was done by way of Herod, being an Edomite. When Jesus was born, listen, he put out a decree to have all the male child, that are children under 2, killed. But that was done by way of Herod, not knowing that, hey, Satan was the one that was behind it in the first place. All right, but now, so in verse 13, he said, when the dragon saw that he was cast out into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished. Not only is she going to be fed, but she's going to be nourished, right? For a time and time. So a time will be 1 year. Okay? That's what a time is, 1 year. Then it says, and times, with an S on it, meaning plural. That's 2 years. So we got a total how many years right now?
3.
3 years, right? Then it says what?
And a half time.
And half a time. So that's 3.5 years. 1,260 days, 42 months. All right? So it says she is nervous. So in other words, you're going to be taken care of in the wilderness. You ain't got to worry about nothing. You're going to be straight. You're going to have food. You're going to be nourished. We'll be good. You just got to have faith to get there. Going to be nourished for a time and half a time from the face of the serpent. Go ahead and read.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman.
Right, so in this case right here, we just talking about how, hey, Satan going to send out an army to come behind us. We're going to be running. It ain't going to be easy for you to get there, sisters and brothers. Like, it ain't going to be like everybody, where you just going to be skipping. No, you're going to be running for your life, sisters and brothers. And he's going to send out all these different mechanisms that he can to come after this woman. But the Lord going to make sure he has a way set up to protect his church. Just like he did then. Think about back in the day when Israel came out of Egypt. They got the wilderness, that they in, and they walked right up to the Red Sea. You either got the Red Sea to go through, or you got this army behind you. But what the Lord did, he split that Red Sea, didn't he? And he had them come through on dry land, sisters and brothers. You understand what I'm saying? So we got the same thing going on here. That's why it's saying, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. But what happened in verse 16? Read that.
And the earth helped the woman.
Right, so the earth going to help the woman. Keep reading.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Right, so just like the earth helped the woman back then where the Lord opened up that water, the Lord going to listen. He going to do something this time to help us at this particular time, sisters and brothers. See, people don't understand. They don't understand what's going on with the Bible. They don't understand what's going on with the church. And they don't understand that God is still running all of this, sisters and brothers. If you knew it, if you understood, you would definitely be more in tune into the Bible like we should be. Not here, for the ones here, just mankind as a whole. So he said the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. What else?
And the dragon was wroth with the woman.
Right, she mad now because, listen, the woman got away. It said the dragon was wroth with the woman. Go ahead and read.
And went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
Right, see, these are the ones that didn't get to the wilderness. He turned around and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which what?
Kept the commandments of God.
Which keep the commandments of God. Go ahead and read.
And have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
Right, because some people going to still be here, sisters and brothers. So you don't make it to the wilderness, hey, you might be one of the ones he coming back to get. But the point is, they're going to be chasing us at this time. But now let's go a little further. Let's go to Exodus chapter 19. Exodus chapter 19, because Revelation 12, what we just read in verse 6, I'll just refresh your memory. It says, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she have a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And verse 14 says, until the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness. Now, it ain't like you're going to have feathers on your back or nothing like that, but nothing like that. It's just that the Lord going to send his angels to protect us, sisters and brothers. Just like he did back then. That's why he said in Revelation 12 and 14, until the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness and to her place. So Exodus 19, go and pick this up at verse 1. Exodus 19 and verse 1. Go and read that, brother.
In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount.
So the Lord met them at Mount Sinai, sisters and brothers. This is where we're going right back out in that area. But he said in the 3rd month, when they came, Israel were going forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. Go ahead and read.
And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians.
Now he said what? You've seen what I did unto the Egyptians, right? This is what the Lord told Moses, go tell Israel, because I'm going to make y'all the kingdom of priests. But you see how I showed out, in other words. He said, you seen what I did to the Egyptians, and what else?
And how I bear you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself.
Right, but notice what he did, though. He brought him out on eagle's wings last time, didn't he? Mm-hmm. He going to bring us out on eagle's wings again. You don't need no passport. You ain't got to talk to your travel agent and try to set nothing up. All you got to do is have faith, sisters and brothers. Just like he did it back then, he going to do it all over again, sisters and brothers.
Yes, sir.
But he just giving you an analogy of how he going to have these angels. They going to be protecting us, sisters and brothers. Ain't no going to be able to mess with us as we trying to make this move. God going to have us. We just got to get there. We just got to have that faith, sisters and brothers. Go to Daniel chapter 11. Daniel chapter 11. See, when you get understanding on the word, you know, you don't have to make anything up. We don't have to make up a rapture. You know, we don't have to sit up here and try to put nobody in heaven when they die and stuff like that. When you get understanding, you dealing with the word, hey, God, let you know he got a way out, sisters and brothers. He don't want you to perish. If he wanted you to perish, listen, you know, I truly believe that God showed us this for a reason. And it's up to you to make that decision what you're going to do with it. Mm-hmm. You know, if somebody lets you know, hey, there's a way for you to be rescued from incoming danger, you know, I'm almost certain most of us would take that way out, right? Well, that's all God is doing. He's letting us know the way out of this great tribulation. It's in the Bible. It's going to be a bad time. But, hey, you know, you're going to have some faith. And I know it may sound easy, but it ain't going to be easy. I understand that. It ain't going to be easy to leave everything behind. You know, but you just think about it. If you starting to see things unfold already in the Bible, by the time we get down to this point, you should be fully convinced that the Bible is real. You know. But God is giving you a way out. And he's going to have a place set up for us to go to. Daniel 11, chapter 40. Go and read that.
And at the time of the end shall the king...
This is where it's all about the end of the world, sisters and brothers. It's saying at the time of the end, what's going to happen?
Shall the king of the south push at him.
Right, talking about around Egypt. The king of the south, everything is in relation to Israel. Israel being the central part of the world. Right below Israel is Egypt. Right above Israel is Europe. All right? So he say what? And the king of the south, talking about, and at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him. Talking about pushing at the king of the north, or the Pope of Rome. That's eventually who they going to, the king of the south going to come against him. All right? Go ahead and read. What else?
And the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind.
So when the king of the south, the king of Egypt try to come up, try to fight against, the Pope, hey, guess what he going to do? He said the king of the north, talking about the Pope, or coming out of Europe, he said he going to come against him like a whirlwind with chariots. They ain't going to be able to do nothing. Because this guy coming with power. He getting ready to take down a lot of the world. He ain't going to be able to mess with Russia and China and Iran, because that's God's army. That's who the Lord going to use to take them down. And then when it's all said and done, the Lord going to take all of them down. God's smooth. He tell you what he going to do to you, then he tell you how he going to do it, then he tell you to jump back.
Yes, sir.
Then he going to use you. He going to use you to beat up another arm, then he going to beat you. That's God, though. He said, and at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind with chariots and with horsemen. And what else?
And with many ships.
Right, so just to kind of clear it up in your mind. If you look on the map, you see Israel. Right below Israel is Egypt. Above Israel, you got Europe, sisters and brothers. But when you see north and south, in this particular case right here, we're talking about in relation to Israel, sisters and brothers. All right, so the king of the north in this verse, we talking about Europe. This would be the one that we read about in Daniel chapter 11, verse 31 down to verse 36. This would be that king. All right, the king of the north. Eventually, what's going to happen, the king of the south are down in Egypt, they're going to try to come against him, but they won't be strong enough to take him down. That's why it says here, and the king of the north, what verse are we at?
40.
The middle of 40, right?
To the end of 40. Yeah.
Middle 40.
Middle 40.
And the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind with chariots and with horsemen and with many ships. And what else he going to do?
And he shall enter into the countries and shall overflow and pass
That's
over.
right, hey, because he coming. It ain't nobody going to be able to stop him. He going to enter into the countries, and he shall overflow and pass over. What else? Verse 41.
He shall enter also into the glorious land.
Oh, wait a minute. What's the glorious land?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, the
Yes,
holy
sir.
place. He going to enter also into the glorious land. That's where he going to settle down there for 3.5 years. He going to enter also into the glorious land. What else?
And many countries shall be overthrown.
Keep reading.
But these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom.
Wait a minute. He said these going to escape out of his hand, even Edom. What else?
And Moab.
And Moab. What else?
And the chief of the children of Ammon.
Now, all you got to do is look on the map. I was going to print it out for y'all today, but, you know, I was like, nah, if y'all want to look at it Bible study, we can. But Ammon, Moab, and Edom, sisters and brothers, this is like right outside of Jerusalem. Today, you look on the map, it look like it's, you know, probably Jordan today. Well, they're going to escape out of his hand because the Lord got to hide his church somewhere, sisters and brothers. But he's going to take down all the countries around, but Edom, Moab, and Ammon, hey, they're going to escape out of his hand. So read that verse again.
He shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown. But these shall escape out of his hand,
Keep reading.
even Edom and Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon.
Right, so like I said, when you look on the map, you'll be able to see like all this really make up Jordan today. But now let's go over to Isaiah chapter 16. Lord going to have a place to hide his church, sisters and brothers. And it ain't going to just be desert like we think it is. It's desert right now because the Lord got it, you know, really dormant until it's time for Israel to get ready to come home. To get to the till it's time for his church to get to the wilderness. Isaiah chapter 16. Read verse 1, brother.
Send ye the lamb to the ruler of the land from Selah.
Now the lamb we talking about is Jesus. Notice what it say though. It says, send ye the lamb to the ruler of the land from Selah to where?
To the wilderness.
Not to Jerusalem.
To the wilderness.
To the wilderness. Because see, when the Lord get back, the Lord going to the wilderness, sisters and brothers. I keep telling y'all that. God ain't coming back and going right into Jerusalem because Jerusalem going to get destroyed. So before the Lord can go back into Jerusalem, he going to meet the church in the wilderness. And then while he's in the wilderness, hey, he going to have Zerubbabel and these immortals over there rebuilding Jerusalem. That's why I'm telling you here what, send him straight to the wilderness. That's where Jesus coming when he get back. He going right to the wilderness, sisters and brothers. It says, send ye the lamb to the ruler of the land from Selah to the wilderness. Go ahead and read.
Unto the mount of the daughter of Zion.
And then we going to walk off into Jerusalem. Go ahead and read. What else?
For it shall be that as a wandering bird cast out of the nest.
Notice what it say. For it shall be that as a wandering bird cast out of the nest. Go ahead and read.
So the daughters of Moab shall be at the fords of Aaron.
But we
of
just
Arnon.
Keep reading.
Take counsel. Execute judgment.
Now notice what he's saying to Moab. We just saw Moab, Edom, and Ammon, didn't we? In Daniel chapter 11. But pay attention to what God is saying through the mouth of Isaiah now. He said what? Take count, 3, take counsel, execute judgment. What else?
Make thy shadow as the night in the midst of the noonday.
He said, make thy shadow as the night in the midst of the noonday. When it's noon outside, it's bright outside, right? But he said, in other words, make it seem like it's dark in the middle of the day. Okay. Go ahead and read, brother. What he say?
Hide the outcast.
Wait a minute. He hide who?
The outcast.
Why? Because you the outcast, whether you know it or not. But you're going to be hidden during the time of Great Tribulation. But this is the location where you're going to, sisters and brothers. He said, hide the outcast. He telling Moab this. Why? Because this is where the church is going. He said, hide the outcast. What else?
Bewray. Not him that wandereth.
Right. Don't turn away him that wandereth. Because that's what we're going to be doing. You leaving out of the land. You leaving all your possessions behind. You on your way to somewhere. You may not be sure. You're going to be sure when it's time, sisters and brothers. Like I tell you, this ain't no my homeboy hookup, getaway. This got something to do with God. He going to have everything set up real nice for you, sisters and brothers. All you got to do is have some faith. All you got to do is have some faith. The Lord going to have everything set up in the wilderness when you get there. You ain't got to worry about no food. He said what you going to be nourished. He said he going to feed her there for 1,203 days, didn't he? He said she going to be nourished for a time, and half a time, didn't he? So he said, take counsel, execute judgment, make thy shadow as the night in the midst of the noonday, hide the outcast. Go ahead and read.
Bewray not him that wandereth.
Keep reading.
Let mine outcast dwell with thee, Moab.
Notice what the Lord said. He said, let my outcast dwell with thee, Moab. So we going to be sitting over there in the land of Moab, Edom, and Ammon, all up in there, just chilling for 3.5 years. That's where the church got to get to, sisters and brothers. What else he say?
Be thou a convert to them from the face of the spoiler.
In other words, hide them. Cover them up now from the face of the spoiler. Because listen, Satan is out. Satan got this great tribulation going on by where, using Rome, and they looking for us. Mm-hmm. But guess what? In the middle of the noonday, we're going to be sitting there hiding. That's right. Chilling. Eating grapes. I don't know why I like grapes. That's all I can think about, big old grapes. He said, be thou a covert to them from the face of the spoiler. For what?
For the extortioners at an end. The spoiler ceaseth. The oppressors are consumed out of the land.
All right, so now let's go a little further. Let's go over to Isaiah chapter 43. Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43, and pick this up at verse 18. All right, go ahead and read that for me.
Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old.
Go ahead.
Behold, I will do a new thing.
That's right. Now, this God talking now. He said, remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Like we talk about how the Lord did all that stuff for the Israelites and brought us out of captivity. That's some stuff we, can make reference to. Mostly everybody, if you ain't even dealing with the word, you can make reference back to that. You've been taught that every year around Easter time when they do Easter, they show the Israelites coming through the Red Sea and stuff. Not the real Israelites, but they show that movie. Or that's the time they remember. But for us as Israelites, the Lord is letting us know for real. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Why?
Behold, I will do a new thing.
Right, he said, behold, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do a new thing. I did some things back then, but now I'm going to do a new thing. Go ahead and read, brother.
Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it?
That's right. You going to know it. Why? What he going to do?
I will even make a way in the wilderness.
Wait a minute. He said, I'm going to make a way in the wilderness. Go ahead and read.
And rivers in the desert.
Oh, so this going to be something real big, sisters and brothers. That's why I tell you, you ain't got to worry about taking that. That's why I told you when you come down, all you need to do is run. You ain't got time to be going back into the house. He said, what? I'm going to do a new thing. I'm going to make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. But listen, that's something big. We talking about dry land over there right now. Ain't nobody inhabiting. He said, I'm going to make rivers in the desert, sisters and brothers. I'm going to make a way in the wilderness. You're going to be straight off in the wilderness. Go on and read.
The beasts of the field shall honor me. The dragons and the owls, because I give waters in the wilderness.
He going to do what? He said, I give waters in the wilderness. We talking about the same God. But he said, listen, don't worry about the old things that I used to do. Pay attention to what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do a new thing. He said, the beasts of the field, they going to honor me. They going to be surprised, like, hey, this, they don't even come over there now. Because it's dry land right now. There's nothing there. You can't do nothing with it right now, sisters and brothers. Because God is going to preserve this place for the church. But it's going to start coming back to life now. He said what? The beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls, because I do what?
I give waters in the wilderness.
Keep reading.
And rivers in the desert.
For who?
To give drink to my people, my chosen.
Wait a minute, to give drink to who?
My people.
My who?
My people.
My chosen, right?
Yes, sir.
That's who it's for, sisters and brothers. The Lord gonna have this thing worked out for Israel. Don't think you dealing with some rude-poo God. No, we dealing with the true and living God, sisters and brothers. He gonna have this thing all planned out. All you got to do is keep God's commandments, keep doing what he say, because his truth is what's gonna be your shield and your buckler. That's what's going to give you the understanding you need to get to the wilderness at the set time. Keep coming to Sabbath class. Keep on getting fed the word of God. When it's time for you to go, hey, you are already ready because you've been watching. The Lord been showing you things in the Bible. You know how to line things up now. He said, I give rivers in the desert, I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert to give drink to my people, my chosen. Verse 21.
This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise.
That's right. Israel is. Even though we at the bottom of the totem pole, when it's all said and done, hey, the world going to know who the Lord chose.
Yes, sir.
We won't always be in this predicament, sisters and brothers. It's just for a time. We disobeyed God, but the Lord going to bring us back. He said, this people going to show forth my praise. Go to Isaiah chapter 35. Isaiah 35. All right, go and read that, brother. Verse 1, what it say?
The wilderness and the place.
The solitary.
Solitary. Place shall be glad for them.
Right, notice what he said. The wilderness and the solitary place is going to be glad for them. What else?
And the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose.
Notice what's going to happen in this. He said the desert going to rejoice, right? It's going to blossom as a rose. It's going to come back. Right now ain't nothing going on, but it's going to come back. It's going to all start coming, all this stuff. Rushes and reeds going to start forming. Trees going to start coming up. Why? Because he's getting ready for the Lord's people. But he said what? He said what? The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. Go on and read, brother.
It shall blossom abundantly.
Keep reading.
And rejoice even with joy and singing.
This is what the desert going to do. This is what the wilderness going to do. He said, well, it's going to blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. What else? Go ahead.
The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it.
Go ahead.
The excellency of Carmel and Sharon, they shall see the glory of the Lord.
That's right.
And the excellency of our God.
That's right, because we coming back, we going back to the wilderness. But the Lord going to bring this thing back to life. It's going to produce everything you need off in the wilderness. Go ahead and read, brother.
Strengthen ye the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not.
That's right, because it's going to be a bad time, but you ain't got a word. He say to them that of a fearful heart, be strong and fear not. Why?
Behold, your God will come with vengeance.
That's right, because our God is coming. But he going to have us sitting down for a while. We ain't got to worry, but guess what, though? We ain't got to be scared because our God is coming. He said what? Behold, he said, your God, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even what?
God with the recompense. He will come and save you.
And that's what we need. We need this salvation. Go over to Isaiah 41. We almost done. Isaiah chapter 41. Isaiah chapter 41. We're going to pick this up at verse 17. All right, go ahead and read that, brother.
When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them.
That's right. Keep reading.
I will open rivers in high places.
Oh, he's going to do it again, right? But it's all over the Bible. He say what? I'm going to open rivers in high places. You know something that's going to happen in the future. This ain't took place yet. He said, I'm going to open rivers in the high places. What else?
And fountains in the midst of the valleys.
Keep reading.
I will make the wilderness a pool of water.
How you going to make something that's completely dry right now? He going to turn it into a pool of water. That's why I keep saying you ain't got to worry about nothing. You just going to got to have you some faith. I will make the wilderness a pool of water. What else?
And the dry land springs of water.
Right, but that's what he did way back then, didn't he? He made with Moses, and he made water come out of a rock. Then he fed them until it started coming out their nose. Israel was something else. You ain't gonna do that like we did back then. We was tempting God, wasn't satisfied, complaining about what he was doing. The Lord fed them until that food came out their nose. He choked them. He provided though. They just made the Lord mad. But just showing you that God know what he doing. God know exactly what he doing. He know exactly what he gonna have set up for his church in the wilderness, sisters and brothers. He know how he gonna have it set up. But just like Noah had to make some moves, Noah had to actually, regardless of what everybody was saying, if they was mocking him, talking bad about him, thinking he was crazy, he still had to have some faith in God. And he was moved with fear, and he was building that ark, right? That's the same with us. We're going to have some fear of God, believe everything in his word. If he says it's going to happen, you got to believe that's going to happen. You're going to have to do something if you want to be saved. But he's going to take care of you. He said, I'm opening rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water. And what else?
And the dry land springs of water.
Keep reading.
I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittim tree, and the myrtle, and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree, and the pine, the box tree together.
Right, so evidently these some good trees. But just think about it, in the desert, everything is dry land over there. Everything dry land over there. All of a sudden, this stuff is coming back, sisters and brothers. But God is doing this. You ain't gonna have nobody, Home Depot workers going over there starting to plant this stuff. God taking care of all this, sisters and brothers.
Yes, sir.
That's why you ain't got to worry like that. Hopefully, we can answer some of these questions. But God, way back in the Old Testament, he done already set this thing up for you. Only thing required of you just going to have some faith. That's why it's called faith in God, your ticket into the wilderness. You ain't got to be worried about what I got to do, what I need to bring. Do I need to get a passport? That's the one of the most questions out of every question we get concerning the wilderness. People actually, they got to get a passport to get to the wilderness. Listen, man ain't got nothing to do with this. This is all God, sisters and brothers. God going to take care of this whole thing, sisters and brothers. You just going to have some faith. Mm-hmm. You're going to have faith. That's going to be your biggest concern right there, faith. Like the Bible tells you, the spirit is willing, right? But the flesh is weak. Right. We can say we're ready. We can say we want to go. We can't wait to get out of here. But you don't know how it is when you got to walk away from your mother and your father. Some people, children ain't going to even want to do it. You got to walk away from them, sisters and brothers. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, you just do the things necessary to get your faith built up.
That's right.
But now let's go a little further. That's it on that, brother?
No, verse 20.
All right, go and read.
That they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of the Lord hath done this.
Right, that's why I tell you that God is the one that's behind this. He's the one that's behind this whole operation. Man ain't got nothing to do with this. But when they see this happen, when they see this desert coming back, they gonna know that God is the one that's doing this, sister and brother. What did he say though?
And the Holy One of Israel hath credited it.
That's right. The Holy One of Israel hath created it. Go to Ezekiel chapter 20. Ezekiel chapter 20, because not only do we get to the wilderness, we're gonna be there 3.5 years, but it's gonna be, after the 3.5 years is up, then Jesus is coming to the earth, sisters and brothers. And I'm bringing you here because when the Lord get back, He's gonna gather Israel from wherever they've been scattered, and He's gonna bring them to the wilderness. The wilderness is very important. The first part of the wilderness, the Lord gonna take. Hopefully we blessed to get off into the wilderness where the Lord can actually keep us from this great tribulation. But after the great tribulation is over with, then the Lord gonna gather His elect that's been scattered in the worldwide captivity. He's going to take them into the wilderness, sisters and brothers. Just like it was way back in the day. Ezekiel chapter 20. Let's pick this up in verse 33. Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33. You can read it when you get it, brother.
As I live, saith the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you.
Go ahead.
And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out from the countries wherein ye are scattered.
Right, see, notice what he's saying, though. He's saying, I'm going to gather you out from the people and from the countries where you've been scattered. See, God is the one that scattered us, and God is the one that's going to recover us. See, Moses did it last time, but we wasn't scattered in a lot of countries like we are now, sisters and brothers. What you saw, during the time of Moses, you just saw it on a minor scale compared to how Jesus is going to do it. We all over the world now, right? And we got to be delivered from all over the world. And this is why he's saying that. He said, what? As I live, saith the Lord God, surely with the mighty hand and with the stretched out arm and with fury, he's going to be mad. He said, with fury poured out, will I rule over you. There ain't going to be hey, God ain't having no mercy this time. You're either going to do what he said, you're going to die in the wilderness. And he said, I'm going to bring you out from the people. It ain't going to be Moses this time. It's going to be Jesus this time doing this. I'm going to bring you out from the people. What else?
And will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered.
Right, so no matter where we at, wherever we've been scattered at by slave ship, whether we got scattered down among the Hamites, among the Russians, wherever we got scattered at, the Lord is going to deliver us out of this captivity. I'm going to bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein you're scattered. What else?
With a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out.
Keep reading.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
Notice what he said. I'm going to bring you into the wilderness of the people. See, this is real familiar with God, sisters. It just ain't familiar with us because we don't read about this. But you're going back into the wilderness. This is where our forefathers was at. Now, this is after the Great Tribulation right here, what we're reading about. But I'm bringing you here for a reason. Because when the Lord get back to the wilderness, He still got to bring the rest of our kin folks that's scattered throughout the world. He's going to bring them off into the wilderness. He said, I'm going to bring you into the wilderness of the people. And what are he going to do?
And there will I plead with you face to face.
Right, so he going to be talking nice and big. That ain't what he means. He's going to put it out here. He's going to put that law out there. You either going to agree to it or you ain't going to agree to it. But you only got one choice. It's death. That's it. Or life, if you do what he said. But the point is, you ain't having no mercy where you can get away with it. God done had a lot of mercy on us, sisters and brothers. He's going to recover us after all this stuff, all these idol gods we've been worshiping. He's still giving us another shot. He mad too, boy. He said, I'm stressed out on with fury poured out. Goodness gracious, boy. You're going to have a bad temper, boy. Don't say nothing wrong. You want to keep my law? Yes. Yes. That's all you got to say. He said, there will I plead with you face to face, like what?
As I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness.
Right, so he's taking it back to the first, when we got delivered the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of what?
Of the land of Egypt.
Uh-huh.
So will I plead with you, saith the Lord God.
That's right, keep reading.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod,
Mm-hmm.
and will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
Right, so this covenant, we talking about, listen, you're going to have to agree to these commandments. You're going to agree to these commandments. You're going to marry the Lord, sisters, but if you haven't already.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't getting away with it. This is how you're going to, it's going to be an agreement put out there based on some words that God going to give us. The same words that you agreed to when you got baptized, right? This is what the Lord going to put out here wholesale for Israel when they get back to the wilderness. The same exact thing. We can't do away with the commandments. They still there. This is what the covenant is going to be based on, sisters and brothers. But he took you back all the way to Egypt. He said, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness. So that lets you know if he's relaying it back to what happened before, that it must be something coming again, right? That's why I say, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness. So that means he's going to do it all over again, right? Then I'm going to cause you to pass under the rod, and I'll bring you into the bond of the covenant. Verse 38.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels,
Mm-hmm.
and them that transgress against me.
Mm-hmm.
I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall not enter into the land of Israel.
Right, because he's going to purge out the rebels. And that's why I keep showing you, making sure I point it out, that we go into the wilderness first. Whether we escape the Great Tribulation and get to the wilderness, or whether when the Lord get back, he gathered Israel from this worldwide captivity, going to the wilderness. Nobody going right into to Jerusalem. Now when the Lord get back, and we make this first resurrection, we get this everlasting life, sisters and brothers. And we don't have to worry about sitting in the wilderness, going through this covenant again. Because you make the covenant when you get baptized. But he's just talking about the nation as a whole. You understand? Just imagine, okay, they say 13% of the population here in America. All right, so you got, we'll say 300 million. 10% of 300 million, 30 million. So 30 million Israelites, just in America alone, on that pilgrimage to the wilderness. Just imagine that. And when they get over there, they all got to go up under this covenant, sisters and brothers. That's what he's talking about going to take place this second time around. That's just America, though. We all over the world. We're in Jamaica, we're in Haiti, we're in Brazil, we're over in Russia. We all over the world. So just imagine all these Israelites that have been scattered coming down. They got to come up under this covenant like we did at our baptism. So you came up under, once you went in that water, you agreed to serve God. You agreed to keep the Sabbath day. You agreed to keep them commandments, his dietary law. We've already done it. So hopefully we make this first resurrection when the Lord get back. We ain't got to go to the desert and do this again. You understand what I'm saying? But Israel, as a nation of people, he's going to gather them and bring them to the wilderness, the ones who didn't get the first resurrection, and they got to go through this covenant, sisters and brothers. And that's why he's saying, I'm going to purge out from among you the rebels, because some people ain't going to want to do it. Yep. Seen the mighty hand of God and delivered us from captivity, still want to go back to America. Mm-hmm. Just like Israel wanted to go back in Egypt, didn't they? Mm-hmm. They weren't satisfied. Somebody will free you from slavery. You want to be a slave again. What kind of sense is that make? I don't know, but them our people, so I can't really say nothing bad about them because we still gonna do the same thing, right? He said, I'll purge you out from among the rebels, and them that transgress against me, them that break my law, that sin against God. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. But before that happens, hey, they got to make that pit stop in the wilderness. What does it say?
And ye shall know that I am the Lord.
All right, now let's go over to Isaiah chapter 23. Because I wanted to show you this, how the Lord, when they get to the wilderness, how the Lord going to make sure they straight in the wilderness. And one reason I like to go this route is to just remove any doubts in your mind that if the Lord going to have something set up for the Israelites, when he get on this earth, if he can make a way for them to be taken care of, just understand that he can make a way for us to be taken care of when we make this trip to the wilderness during the time of the Great Tribulation. So Isaiah 23, pick this up at verse 14. Isaiah chapter 23, verse 14. Go and read that for me.
Howl, ye ships of Tarshish, for your strength is laid waste. And it shall come to pass in that day that Tyre shall be forgotten 70 years, according to the days of one king. After the end of 70 years shall Tyre sing as an harlot. Take in harp, go about the city, thou harlot that has been forgotten. Make sweet melodies, sing many songs, that thou mayest be remembered.
Right, so it said, how you ships of Tarshish. This will be coming out of Gentile season, all right? But evidently they dealt with, I guess what they traded with or what they dealt with has something to do with ships. You know what I'm saying? And what I like to imagine that, listen, it's just me imagining. I ain't saying this is it for sure. But if they're dealing with ships, and he said they're gonna kind of chill for 70 years. And when it means they're gonna chill for 70 years, they're gonna kind of lay low for 70 years, that's really talking about prophetic weeks. Talking about the time of Israel being in captivity. That's really what it's making reference to. And after these 70 weeks, at the end of our captivity, guess what? They're going to go back into business again. But I like to imagine it to be in them cruise ships, man. I could be wrong, but I don't see no wooden ships. Y'all think we going back on the good ship Jesus? Them wooden ships, the Mayflower and stuff like that? Nah, this is something God got something. So every time I see them big ships and stuff, I be like, yeah, boy, that's how the Lord gonna bring us back home. We going back in style this time. I can't prove it, though. I just like to imagine. Ain't no wrong with imagining, is it? I don't want to imagine going back on the bottom of a ship. I'd rather imagine going back on the top of a ship. So it say, how ye ships of Tarshish? For your strength is laid waste, and it shall come to pass in that day that Tyre shall be forgotten 70 years. According to the days of one king, after the end of 70 years shall Tyre sing as an harlot. Go ahead and read.
Taking harp. Go about the city.
Right, go and make some noise. Take a harp, go about the city and do what?
The harlot that has been forgotten. Make sweet melody. Sing many songs, that thou mayest be remembered.
That's right. Go and get their attention. Go and wake them up now. So in other words, you can go back into what it is you used to do. He said what? Make sweet melody, sing many songs that thou mayest be remembered. Go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass after the end of 70 years that the Lord will visit Tyre.
Keep reading.
And she shall turn to her hire.
She gonna turn to her work, turn it what it is her profession is. She gonna turn to her hire. Go ahead and read.
And she'll commit fornication with all the kingdoms of the world.
Right. So in other words, it ain't talking about she gonna commit fornication as far as like physically. But in other words, she gonna get in bed with all these nations to make to make provision for God's people. Go ahead and read what it say, brother.
With all the kingdoms of the earth, with all the kingdoms of the earth, of the world upon the face of the earth.
Keep reading.
And her merchandise is her hire.
Right, so notice what she gonna use for her fornication. It's saying her merchandise and her hire. Go ahead and read.
Shall be holiness to the Lord.
Oh, but it's gonna be holy to God. That's why I say she ain't gonna be laying up here physically. She gonna be making provision for Israel to be taken care of. Because remember now, God gotta bring us out to the wilderness when he get back, right? That's why I say I like to show you this, so you would know this is speaking right here past us going to the wilderness in the Great Tribulation. So if God has a plan for his people to be taken care of when he physically get back to this earth, you know he can take care of us when we get to the wilderness. This is why I'm showing you this. Because I know you may think, well, what about clothes? Okay, we got some food and water, Brother Nate. How you going to get some clothes over there? But let's see what God is saying. He said, and it shall come to pass after the end of 70 years that the Lord will visit Tyre and shall turn to her high and shall commit fornication with all the kingdoms of the world upon the face of the earth. And what else?
Her merchandise and her hire shall be holiness to the Lord.
Keep reading.
It shall not be treasured nor laid up.
That's right, keep reading.
For her merchandise shall be for them that dwell before the Lord.
Right, so her merchandise going to be for them that dwell before the Lord. Go on and read.
To eat sufficiently.
To do what?
To eat.
To eat sufficiently. Go on and read.
And for durable clothing.
See, God already got to take care of it.
Yes, sir.
So if the Lord is looking way past the Great Tribulation to see how He's going to make sure His people straight that dwell before Him, then you shouldn't be worried about what you're going to be wearing in the wilderness. You shouldn't be worrying about no passport, shouldn't be worrying about no food and none of that. You just got to have some faith, right? God already He done took care of everything. All you got to do is walk into your suite, the wilderness, sisters and brothers. All right, now let's go a little further. Go over to Isaiah chapter 60. Isaiah chapter 60. We got one more place after this. Isaiah chapter 60. We're going to pick this up at verse 8. Isaiah 60 and verse 8. Go and read that.
Who are these that fly as a cloud and as doves to their windows?
Notice what Isaiah is seeing way in the Old Testament, right? You say, who are these that fly as a cloud and as doves to their windows? What are we talking about?
Airplane.
Huh? Airplane. All right, so because what we're looking at modes of transportation. But the Lord is showing this to Isaiah way in the Old Testament, right? He said, who are these that fly as a cloud and as doves to their windows? This is what Isaiah is saying. But they didn't call them airplanes back then. You understand what I'm saying? But you don't see, does a dove got windows? He said, who are these that fly as a cloud and as doves to their windows? Go ahead and read. What else he say?
Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far.
Oh, okay, so now in addition to these that fly as a cloud and doves to their windows, now we got these ships also, right? What these ships going to do? They're going to bring thy sons from far. Because you've been scattered all over the world, right? He said what? Surely the isles shall wait for me and the ships to Tarshish first to do what?
Bring thy sons from far.
What else they going to bring with them?
Their silver and their gold with them.
Now, how you going to be a slave in America? You broke. You ain't got no money, but all of a sudden you coming back to God with some silver and gold. Because it's going to be just like it was during the time when He brought us out of Egypt, sisters and brothers. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to realize you holy. They're going to be trying to give you everything. But the same exact thing. But notice the mode of transportation. The Lord going to have a way. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. Not saying that this may be the exact way, but the point is that God already has on His mind a way to get His people out of here, sisters and brothers. All you got to do is have the faith. I know it's a big Atlantic Ocean out there. God knows it's a big Atlantic. You know He can't. He knows Negroes can't swim. Come on, stop playing. A few of us can, though. most black people I told you can't swim. That's a little joke they got about it, that we can't swim. But we ain't gonna need to swim. God gonna get us over there on ships and planes. Or if He gonna open up, put it this way, you gonna be straight. You ain't gotta worry about that, sisters and brothers. He said, surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto what?
The name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because He hath glorified thee.
All right, now let's go over to Mark chapter 13. This is the last place. Mark chapter 13. We're going to pick this up at verse 10. Mark 13, verse 10. It's the same thing. This is Mark's account of the end. You know, when the Lord talked to, and the Lord was making reference to the second coming at the end of the world. Mark got an account of it. Luke got an account. Matthew got an account. But this is what Mark was saying regarding the Lord's second coming. Go ahead and read verse 10.
And the gospel must first be published among all nations. But when they shall lead you and deliver you up, take no thought beforehand what ye shall speak, neither do you premeditate. But whatsoever shall be given you in that hour, that speak ye. But it is not ye that speak, but the Holy Ghost.
And some of this happened, you know, on a small extent with Peter and them in the book of Acts. You see that, you know, they was delivered up and stuff like that, but they weren't afraid to, you know, preach Jesus. But it's gonna come around again. You're gonna have to stand up for God's sister, brother. You can't worry about what you gotta say. Hey, it should already be in you. But one thing that gotta have me say, this gospel must first be published among all nations. When they shall lead you and deliver you up, take no thought beforehand what you shall speak. See, a lot of us want to die for Jesus, sister, brother. Yes. That's what we not understand. You know, not us, but I'm just saying most people don't understand we're gonna have to die for Jesus, sister, brother. If you believe in God, you're gonna have to make your allegiance known to who it is you believe, who it is you serve. Most people don't really believe in God. If they did, they'd be doing what he said. They'd be keeping his commandments. You know, it wouldn't be no problem with keeping the law. But most people don't believe in God, sister, brother. They just, you know, like our teachers say, they just atheists with a Bible. They just walk around with a Bible, don't do nothing he say. At least the atheist, he tell you he don't believe in the Bible. He don't have nothing to do with the Bible. But most Christians who say they believe in God, they just atheists with Bibles. They just sitting on their dashboard in their car, don't read it. Go to church, don't read it, sisters and brothers. But if you serving the true and living God, hey, you're going to have to die for God, sisters and brothers. Some of us will. But the point is, don't worry about what you have to say. Whatsoever shall be given you in that hour, that speak ye, for it is not you that speak, but the Holy Ghost. Verse 12, go ahead and read.
Now the brother shall betray the brother to death.
For the word of God, though. It's going to be bad. Family turning on each other because you dealing with the word. He say, now the brother going to betray the brother to death. What else?
And the father the son. And children shall rise up against their parents. And shall cause them to be put to death.
Now, that's bad, ain't it? That's bad. We ain't seen nothing like this. Go ahead and read. What else?
And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that shall
you gonna be hated for whose sake?
For my name's sake.
For Jesus, sisters and brothers. You're gonna be hated of all men because not just because his name, because a lot of people call his name, but because you actually do this. You stand up for this. You live this life. A lot of people gonna hate you for Jesus because of Jesus, sisters and brothers. But our reward is great. He said, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but what?
But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved.
So you got to endure to the end. Let's keep that in mind. You're trying to get that salvation, so you got to endure to the end. The same thing they said in Matthew, right? You got to endure to the end. If you want to be saved, you have to endure until the end. Go ahead and read.
But when you shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet.
Did we read about him? Mark just he said what? When you see the abomination of desolation spoken about Daniel the prophet, doing what?
Standing where it ought not.
See, what Matthew say what? Standing in the holy place, right? Now Mark is saying standing where it ain't got no business standing there. That's what it mean by ought not. When you see this happen, go ahead and read.
Let him that readeth understand.
Keep reading.
Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains.
Right, but the Lord is letting you know you got to run. He say flee, sisters and brothers. Not just if you over in those mountains. We saw in Revelation 12 that the church fled into the wilderness, right? And we all make up the church, but if you were in Jerusalem, he letting you know you need to get off into these mountains because he was talking to them at that time. That's what it was at. But it's mainly for us down at the end of the world. If you're in Judea, just like in Luke chapter 17, around the time of 70 AD, when the armies came in and compassed to Jerusalem, hey, he said, know that the desolation thereof is now. It's time, now you need to get out of there. But when you see this starting to happen with Jerusalem, it's time for you to make some moves. It's time for you to get on up out of there. The abomination of desolation, this is getting ready to jump off the Great Tribulation. Go ahead and read. What else?
And let him that is on the housetop not go down unto the house.
Right, so once again, you don't need no passport. You don't need no clothes. You don't need no food and no water. You don't even got to worry about shelter. All you got to do is have some faith, right? He said what? And let him that is on the housetop not go down into the house. Go on and read.
Neither enter therein.
Right, so if you're at work, which most of y'all should be working around this time. Y'all should have y'all shoes ready to move. By the time we get here. But the point is just letting you know how dire the situation is. He said, let him that is on the housetop not go down into the house. Neither what?
Enter therein to take anything out of his house.
So you don't got to worry about getting nothing out of your house. What else?
And let him that is in the field not turn back again for to take up his garment.
Right, because God going to have everything already taken care of. So all you got to do is have a little faith. I hope somebody got some understanding of Jesus. I will have it.
I pray that the eyes of your understanding were enlightened by today's lesson. DVDs and CDs of the lessons are available. Please place your order in the offering box along with your donation and pick up your DVD, CD up at the podium next Saturday. Please tune in to Thy Kingdom Come television programs, which airs in various locations. Also, join us for question and answer Bible study in about an hour from now. And every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via live stream and or teleconference at 860-970-0010, access code 343-531-334#. If you feel you are ready to be baptized, please sign the baptismal list at the podium or speak with Brother Tony or Brother Anthony. On the first Sunday of every month, we broadcast the Bible in plain view. This broadcast gives brothers an opportunity to read and or teach a short 30-minute class. If you are interested in helping, please let us know. The following is the dress code for our services. All clothing should be modest in appearance. Nothing tight-fitting, overly baggy, sagging, or revealing should be worn. Men are to remove hats and all head coverings, and women should wear a head covering, such as a hat or a scarf, according to 1 Corinthians 11, verses 1 through 7. If your young child becomes noisy during the lesson, distracting other members, please remove him or her to the other room next door. Any tithes and or free will offerings should be put in an offering envelope and placed in an offering box near the podium. Pray for our strength as we pray for you until next Saturday. Peace.
Peace. All right. So a few other announcements. We'll be having Bible in Plain View tomorrow evening at 6. So any brothers who gonna be teaching tomorrow, let me know. So I can see who's gonna put on the list. The Lord blessing is where a lot of brothers starting to be able to come up and teach now, so that's definitely good. So just let me know so I can kind of work out who we're gonna have up. Also, last week we went down and opened up in North Carolina. So that's definitely a blessing.
Amen.
The Lord is definitely definitely, the word is starting to spread a lot. Yeah. Spreading all over the place now. So y'all brothers get ready to do some work. We'll be helping out with North Carolina in addition to Jacksonville. So that's just a few things to keep in mind. Keep Brother Mann in your prayers. He's a little ill this morning. So if y'all don't mind keeping him in your prayers, and I ask that you all pray for my mothers. Also, after class today, Brother Kevin got some more flyers that we have made up to pass out. So probably a brother or two. Y'all can just get out there with him from about 3:45 or 3:30. That's okay with you, Brother Kevin? 3:30? Is that too early? Yes. I'm just trying to get you before we start Bible study. Yeah. 3:30 or 3:45? 3:30. 3:30 is good? 3:30. Yeah. 3:30. Okay. All right. So a brother would like to get out with him and pass them out. Those flyers been working, man. You know, he brought some brothers in a few weeks ago. So you never know, the Lord's word don't go out void. So just get a brother out there to help pass out a few of them right after class, just for an hour before we start Bible study. And also keep the brothers in Jacksonville on the road in your prayers. I thank Brother Joseph, Brother Johnny, Brother Chris, Brother CJ. Anybody else with me? I think that's it. So y'all keep them in your prayers on the way back. Also, the children's class been going pretty good. Want to give y'all brothers a hand on that. Because, you know, we got a lot of work to do around here, and the Lord has allowed the church to grow. So it gives brothers opportunities to be able to get more work in. And we definitely appreciate the sisters for the worksheets and stuff like that to help us out. Because without the sisters, we dumb. You know what I'm saying? We just go in there and teach, and you ain't get no snacks. You ain't get no worksheets, none of that. That's it. So Good to see Sister Serena, Brother George. I'll keep you in prayers also. Praise the Lord. With that being said, we're going to close out. Thank you, Brother DeMarcus, for holding it down for me today, man. And I guess we'll finish up with Q&A in about an hour from now. So with that being said, we're going to go on Facebook and close out. And y'all keep Brother Cephas' mother in your prayers. And what's the little baby name? The little baby, your mother in your prayers. Cephas' mom in your prayers. She was sick today, but I think the little baby wasn't feeling good. What's her name? What's her name?
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. Okay, yeah, keep little Aaliyah in your prayers. All right.
Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done on earth
thy will be done on earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
Lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
For he is good,
For he is good,
and his mercy endures forever.
and his mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
For he is good,
For he is good,
and his mercy endures forever.
and his mercy endures forever.
In Jesus' name we pray.
In Jesus' name we pray.
The Holy One of Israel,
The Holy One of Israel,
King of kings,
King of kings,
and Lord of lords,
Lord of lords,
one true God,
one true God,
there is no other.
there is no other.
Amen.
Amen. The Lord bless thee and keep thee.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee.
The Lord make his face shine upon thee.
The Lord make his face shine upon thee.
And be gracious unto thee.
And be gracious unto thee.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee.
And give thee peace.
And give thee peace.
They shall put my name upon the children of Israel.
They shall put my name upon the children of Israel.
And I will bless them.
And I will bless them.
Hallelujah.
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 In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.